And what a pleasure it is to have you on the show with us.
It really is. I don't know why it's taken this long.
I know. I pushed the issue. She didn't want to have you.
Oh, yeah. That was it?
Yeah,
That was it. I was like, no, really, he's a good kid. And she's like, I don't know.
Well, I'm thrilled to be here, so thank you.
Well, Matthew
See, already.
Yeah, Matthew is one of the top recurve archers, youth archers in Houston, if not in the nation.
Yeah.
And we wanted to have you on the show, kind of
I love it.
get to
He
know
goes,
you. Yep. Even though he did come in third place in his first national competition.
That was his first national.
First nationals with the first year.
At
he
11,
comes in third. Yeah.
5 years ago.
Yeah.
I just don't bring that up.
We won't bring up that you got beat by your little brother, but
Painful memories right there.
he's all of a sudden in the corner rocking back and forth.
Yep.
Stupid third place.
To my brother who got second.
At my middle school, that's the only thing anyone ever remembers about my archery is that Ben beat me.
No way.
Yep.
Oh, that's awful.
Yeah, because he made sure to tell a lot of people.
I don't. Why would he do that?
I have no idea.
See,
why would
being
they
an
do
only
that?
child, I wouldn't know anything about that.
So we have Matthew here. We want to kind of introduce him to everybody. So Matthew, tell us what discipline do you shoot? How old you are?
So I'm 16 years old, and I shoot Olympic recurve with a win-and-win bow.
How long have you been shooting?
I've been shooting for 5.5 years now, since this summer going into my 6th grade year. And that's been for the past 4 years now, 5 to 7 times a week. So,
All right, 5 to 7. That was one of the questions I was going to ask. And how did you get into archery?
So I got into archery because I was reading this book series called Ranger's Apprentice by John Flanagan. And it's this phenomenal series. And in it, the main character is this little boy who picks up archery, and it completely changes his life. It takes him all over the world. He gets to do the coolest things ever, and I just thought that was awesome. And so I really, really wanted to give archery a try. And actually for a while, for about 6 or so months, I was just shooting in my backyard with this little Genesis bow we had. And I got pretty good with it, actually. And
You
so
started with a compound.
I did start with a compound. Yep, a little bare bow compound. And so I asked my mom for my birthday if I could have some archery lessons, because I drove past Houston Archery every day on my way to school. I was like, hey, Mom, if I just went there, you could just drop me off and pick me up.
Hey guys, welcome to Raising an Archer. And as you can see, I have someone different with me today. I have Dusty Ware. His son is almost a Dusty Cole. Your son's name is Cole.
Actually, my middle name.
Is it? Okay,
Yes.
there you
That's
go.
where it came
Dusty
from.
Cole. There you go. Dusty Cole. That would have worked well.
Yeah, I like it.
So we have no Wendy right now. She had to go to a birthday party, but we want to go ahead and continue giving you guys some live coverage. We just finished the first practice round, practiced end, and we will get back at it here in a second. So there's going to be, this is the last line, as we've talked about before, 12 ends. And, man, your son shot pretty good in that last time, didn't he?
He's pretty proud of himself.
Yeah, he is. He is. He seems to be walking a little taller than he did when he came in.
He didn't need any help in that department either, but he pulled off a 52X. He killed it. Super proud of that
14
moment.
years old.
14 and a half.
Yep. So he's 14. Just shot a 352X.
52X.
That is legit shooting.
Indeed.
We had a little bit of a scare with him, is because one of his arrows went through the bell, hit the wall, and the point came right out. So we found an arrow, we found a point, stuck it in there real quick, 200 grains, and went to town. One thing I know, at 20 yards, 20 yards. I was shooting a competition one night, Friday night, and halfway through, I ended up hitting something in the bell, and it literally broke the end of my arrow, and all I had was 5 arrows. So I ran into the shop. I cut a half inch off, maybe 3/4 of an inch off, put the point in, and just threw it
Still
back
shot the
in there.
same?
Shot exactly the same.
Got lucky.
Finished it with a 300, no problem. I'm like, okay, so cutting off maybe a half inch. It's not at 20 yards.
I'm not even going to tell you how many times we've shaved off 1/8 of an inch at a time.
And nobody
shot again, and we think we see a different tear.
Yeah. Let's go ahead and go back to get to the archers now. There we go. So we've got a full house today.
It is a full line indeed.
Yep. I'm going to show Jacqueline something. A lot of testing still. If you are new to watching this, let me just make sure this thing is working. Yes, it is. We are streaming.
New to watching it. What if you're new to doing it?
New to doing it. That's right. If you're new to doing it, you got to be careful when you show up here at Texas Archery, because I might actually put you right in front of the camera, right, Dusty?
Right here.
This guy right here.
It's all in a good time.
Yep. So we've got 2C.
This is our second practice round. Or is this the first score?
This is our second practice end.
All right.
Just a second ago, we saw Jackson Campbell up there shooting his barebow recurve. We talked a little bit about this with everybody. BBR is a new division that came, I believe, in the last couple years, and it was for NFA. It's only the adults and seniors. That's the only ones that have that division. That division now for Texas has been opened up for all the divisions. But one caveat is even though you may be shooting BBR here in Texas, if you go to a national event, it will just be barebow if you are a youth, because there is not a youth division for BBR, which I really think they should change.
That was part of the announcements he made earlier today?
Yep.
Okay.
And there's been some discussion around that, because a lot of the kids, they see recurve, the word recurve in there. It is a barebow recurve is what it is. So it looks like an Olympic recurve, but it has no stabilizers. It has no, it doesn't have a stabilizer on the front, but it's just a bare bow, kind of like what USA Archery considers a bare bow.
Back to the basics.
Yep.
Everybody looks at that and thinks it's a real simple setup. There is more tuning that goes into those recurves than any compound, in my opinion.
Yeah, I went to one of Rick Stonebreaker's tunings for bare bow classes.
Yeah.
And that was the
You had
first
more
time.
questions when you left?
Yeah,
I
I was just like, during that, I was just like, wow, I never even thought about how, they paper tune bare bow. And at the time, I didn't realize that was really a thing. And so there was stuff that you do to tune a bare bow, and it just makes sense. Now it just like, that was so long ago, because I was still new to archery when I took that class. But it really does, there is an art to bare bow, and bare bow has come on so strong in the last couple of years. And you can even see it with when we do these videos, and I cut out, like when we do the shoot-offs for bare bow, hands down, those get more views than anything else. And when I say hands down, they are like Jacqueline, her shoot-off, there was something like 2,500 views on that one. And then you go over to the compound, and there's like, I'm over-exaggerating, but 10,
Could be an exaggeration at all.
Yep. There's Ava Gonzalez at full draw with the Texas Archery Joad shirt on. I think that through the summer, she didn't shoot, so when she pulled it out, she had to blow some dust off of it.
I'm sure she'll do just fine.
She'll do fine.
Tell me this, Scott.
We were picking on her a little bit.
We see Texas Archery jerseys all the time everywhere we go, but I see different ones. I see some with spider, and
Yep.
then I see some with something else. Tell me what that is. Is that different teams?
Yeah. So what we did, what I did was I wanted to differentiate an archer that got an Olympian pin through Joad. So
Okay.
if you hit an Olympian pin, that's bronze, silver, or gold for indoor or outdoor. Once you earned one of those pins, we allow you to order your special jersey. So it's all black. The other one has blue sleeves.
Okay.
It has a little blue to it. They all look a lot alike, so that there's some so they do seem
You can tell they
alike.
came from the same place.
Yeah, they came from the same place.
Yeah.
But all those kids, they want that Spider X jersey.
Okay. Noah has one, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Noah
I
has
thought I
one.
saw one.
Yeah, everybody,
That's who I saw wearing it.
the kids want that opportunity to go purchase it.
Looks like he got his D-loop fixed.
Oh yeah, he did.
So, if you weren't tuned in earlier, I'm sorry, I don't know his name.
That was 4B.
We We were down to the last round.
Carl, nope. Maybe. Let me see. That's Dan. Yeah. That's. Yep. Well, let me look at this right. Yeah. Oh, I'm looking at it wrong. Yep. There you go. Dan Confer.
Confer. Okay, I saw it on his jersey. It was the last shot, last arrow on my son's 300. And
All eyes on him because we
Yeah.
were watching him too.
the loop broke on that guy's bow, and I'm not sure where the arrow went. I don't know if you saw or not, Scott, but I don't even know if it made it down to the target. But the bow hit the ground and went 2 lanes over, and it was quite the distraction.
I know.
Luckily, Cole let down.
Yeah.
Started over. Started shot process.
It was
made his
pretty
shot.
dramatic. I mean, it literally went like 2 lanes to the right. I mean, I thought the bow exploded because all of a sudden, bang, and the thing just flies to the right in front of
Crash.
2 archers. And you know what's interesting? What would be the call on that? And I know what the call is, but let's just say that it caused the person right next to him to miss the bail. Like literally hit another, it like startled them. They fired and missed the bail. It's a shot.
You tell me.
It's still a shot.
Still a shot.
Unfortunately,
Counts.
It counts.
Ooh.
There's there's only a few reshoot options. NFAA is a little different. They may come back and go, oh no, NFAA, they allow for that. I don't think so. USA does not. So USA, if that arrow passes the 3 meter line completely, it is a shot arrow.
These youngsters here at 10, what's the stipulations to let them shoot at 10?
It's age. So if you're a cub, if you're
Okay.
11 and below.
Has nothing to do with first year, second year?
No,
Nope.
no. Yeah, so if you're 11 and below, like my daughter, she turned 12 in January last year. So she was 11 through the majority of the season, but she turned 12 before the state championship. She decided she would just shoot 20 yards for the entire season.
Get her with.
Yep,
Take the step.
yep. And so she did.
It'll make her a better shooter for it.
And it actually was a good thing. We didn't make it to state. We were actually planning on taking her, but just couldn't make it. So if we weren't going to state, we might have kept her at 10. I don't know, for confidence, but it actually I actually think it did her better because she's never shot at 10, and so she's always shot at 20 because she just picked up recurve last year, and now she seems to be shooting a lot better.
Challenge helps.
Her scores. We looked at the end of last year, which would have been January, to now. Her points have gone up she's almost gone up 40 points.
Wow.
Yeah,
It's a pretty big increase.
yeah. So and I think it's just going to continue to get better and better.
Probably helps that Dad's at the shop all the time.
Well, I tell you, what made her better is she has a coach that works with her every single week. So we have a weekly lesson for her. So she and I think that's huge.
Something y'all do here at the shop?
Yeah, and that's huge to get her up to speed as fast as possible, where that she can compete. Because I felt like her coming in at 11 and 12, she was a little behind the curve, and so we wanted to get her ramped up. And so for a year, she goes almost every single week. She has a lesson with her coach.
I love to hear it when they challenge the kids. So we have we do a lot of stuff in 4-H.
Yep.
Me and my wife Dallas, and Cole shoots a lot in 4-H. But the 4-H organization, it's great. I don't knock it really. Other than a lot of times it doesn't challenge them quite as much.
Well, it's a grassroots organization.
Yeah.
It really is, and that's not a bad thing. That's a good thing
It is.
actually because
It
it's getting kids into
It's
the
a step.
sport. And coming directly into JOAD or directly coming into these competitions is a little intimidating for most. And so you got to figure out how do you do that. We get a lot of kids for JOAD, and we try to ramp them up very quickly to get them to that competition mode. But what 4-H does is gets kids in that may have never shot a bow before,
Sure.
that enjoy it. JOAD's a little different because we require you to have a bow before you come in.
Tell me what JOAD is. If somebody doesn't
Junior,
know.
it's Junior Olympic Archery Development, which is through USA Archery. It's a club that archers can be a part of, which is through USA Archery. Up until about 2 years ago, you had to actually be a part of a JOAD club if you wanted to shoot in the JOAD division at a major tournament. It's not true anymore. You can be unaffiliated, but still, it's just a good way that the kids will be every week they have an opportunity to come and shoot with their friends, come shoot as a team. They can come shoot as a and push each other, because when you have kids that are really good archers, that pushes the other archers. So you have talent builds talent, right?
Absolutely.
And I believe that, like with our club, we have a lot of really good archers that are coming up. We have, we have several that are shooting the USAT series each year. We have last year we had 12 archers go to Vegas, youth archers go to Vegas. We went ahead, and what we do is we do team dinners, things like that. So if you're part of our club, we'll do a team dinner.
I'm in for that.
Yeah, you're in. Yeah. So we all get together, and that way they have friends that they know that they can go watch and be a part of. Because first time we went to Vegas, I realized that we really weren't a part of a community when we got there. So, meaning we didn't know anybody, so we just showed up. Ryan shot.
Team of 4.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Team of 2. Yeah, it was just Ryan and I.
Oh, okay.
We just showed up. Actually, we knew one other person that was there. That was it. And from there, we started. We got excited after a couple years because we started meeting people and all of that. And then once we built a club that had a bunch of kids that go, now it's just like even my daughter, who's 23 years old, she went last year for the first time to Vegas, and she's made so many friends through the shop that we would get up in the morning. I would go see the youth. She'd go see all the adults that come from, they're part of our club, that are part of our shop, that would go and shoot. And so she would hit all of those and go watch them and talk to them. And she's like, it's just so much fun. And there's Cole right there. There's your boy.
There's Cole. That's it.
I think he's about a head taller than you, too.
Yeah, let's not talk about that.
And I think he's growing. He's probably still growing. 14. If he's anything like Ryan, he's going to probably be.
Yeah, he talks about Ryan all the time.
He's gonna be tall like Ryan.
He is, 14, 6 foot, 150 pounds, and hasn't stopped growing yet.
He's going to keep growing. Ryan had his biggest growth spurt from about 14, 15 to about 17. He grew his draw length grew 3 inches in a year.
That's what I'm worried about.
It was so hard to keep him in a bow.
Once you get over that 32 mark, your selection in bows goes down to nothing.
Well, at least you know somebody that has gone through it. We have Frankenstein. We have Frankenstein bows together. We have
what's he at now, draw length?
33 and a quarter. So my son's at 33 and a quarter. We had to. We've gone through a lot of different bows. Hoyt worked with us one year on the Invicta and sent us some new limbs, which then got us to 33 inches.
Really?
So we've like I said, we've Frankenstein some bows together. We worked with Matthews at one point until he outgrew the Matthews, which was at about 32 and 3/4. After that, it just didn't even look safe to shoot.
What does the phone call sound like when a bow builder calls you and tells you we just can't help you anymore? It gets too big.
It happens a lot. Well, there are some manufacturers out there, like Hoyt now has their Stratus, which has been hugely popular with us. We have sold probably at least 15 of those bows this year already. A lot of kids are shooting them well. That one goes to 33 inches, so you could at 33 inches you can change things up a little bit to get yourself a little longer if you need to. I was talking to PSE the other day, and PSE, their Dominator will go to 33, but they actually have. There's my daughter, Ellie. Olympic recurve.
Texas Archery.
Yep.
Why didn't she have a fancy jersey, Dad?
She does.
I know.
She just didn't wear it.
Yeah.
What was I saying? So they were telling me that they have some guy in Europe that they've built a bow for that has him. He has like a 35 inches. I'm like, what? How big is this
Where
guy?
does he get arrows?
Like he's a giant. You have
Big
to have custom. You have to have
underdraw
custom
overdraw.
arrows, or a serious overdraw.
serious
It's like
overdraw.
sitting at your elbow, maybe.
Sounds dangerous.
Yeah, there's John Michael. John Michael is shooting a Stratus with the HBT cams, shooting it really well. He plans on shooting the USAT series this year, so he's at that age where he can go in. He's U18. And
He's in a good spot.
He's in a good spot. So he's going to shoot the series this year. So it'll kick off with Arizona. It will kick off with and they'll go. I'll say kick off. It goes Arizona, then it goes Gator Cup, which is in Florida. Then from there you'll go to, and it's one every month. Okay, one at SoCal, and then there will be JOAD Nationals will be squeezed in there, and then you will have Buckeye Classic for the final one. And for compound, everybody's a little. All the divisions are a little different. I didn't. This year I figured it out, and I'm just like, oh my word! I didn't know that there were so many different things that were going on when it comes to how do you make the USAT team and all of that. So you take. It's kind of like it's a lot like SYWAT. You'll shoot it. They'll take your top 3 finishes. So, and how the scoring works for youth. You'll love this. So if you come in first place for your qualifier, basically you get half the points, meaning if you come in first, they cut it in half, so you gained half point. If you came in fourth, you would get 2 points. If you came in eighth, it'd be 4 points, like that, okay? And then when you go to the shoot-off, the eliminations, depending on where you're ranked, when you finish, you cut that in half. So if you came in, let's just keep the math straight. You came in fourth, so you got 2 points. You go into the eliminations and you win it. Well, that's half a point that you got, so you got 2.5 points. You want the lowest amount of points as possible.
I feel like this is a 7th grade math test.
Right. Yep. So now you have 2.5 points. If you come in fourth and then you finish second in eliminations, well, now you ended up with 3 points. 2 points for the fourth, and then 1 point because you came in second.
Okay.
So 3 points. And that goes for indoor nationals. So indoor nationals is different. Indoor nationals is whatever your placement is, those are the points you get. Okay? And then you have all your USATs, and then you have your JOAD nationals, which you have to shoot, but you don't have to take the points. So, for example, Ryan had some real major issues at JOAD nationals. He still finished, but he finished in like 17th place. Terrible finish. But he didn't have to take those points.
Thanks, Dad.
So what happened was his Arizona Cup was a really good finish. His Gator Cup was a really good finish. And then Buckeye, the last tournament of the year, was a good finish, which then, because of the points, put him in 5th place for the year, which he made the USAT team. So top 5 in the nation make the USAT team for 2024.
It's pretty big accomplishment.
Yeah, it was something that he wanted. Wasn't sure he was going to be able to pull it off this year. Had some issues, bow issues. He went through 4 bows trying to get one that fit him right.
Drawlings.
Yeah, we were having all kinds of tuning issues. And after collegiate nationals, he finished 10th at collegiate nationals, and he comes on. I'm like, okay, you shot pretty good at collegiate nationals for your first year in college, and he's just like, yeah, I'm switching bows. I don't like this one anymore. I'm struggling with it. So he changed to another bow. So he bounces around from bow to bow to try to figure out what will work best for him. Long draws are an issue. If he can stay under 32 inches, he's fine. He's fine. There are a lot of target bows out there that'll go to 32. Anything over 32,
like
you get
Tim
an issue.
Gillingham, just put him a big long D loop on there.
Yeah. Then you have that string way away from his face.
Mm-hmm. Goofy. We
Got
were
it.
just talking about that earlier. Gillingham, I'm sure you heard that they dropped Kyle Douglas, and was it Kyle Douglas?
Yep,
Yeah, and Gillingham, Bowtech dropped him. It was a big deal in the archery world.
it
It was
was.
a big deal, a lot of money at stake.
It's interesting how that was handled. I'm not sure I would have handled that way.
I don't know the
because-
details, but I've heard.
Yeah, I'm not sure I would have handled it that way. Like
As
it
a
just all of a
business
sudden it popped up that they were out, and it just seemed pretty gruff and rough to me. But I know business is business, and
Numbers
I'm
are
sure
numbers.
those guys will fall on their feet.
Oh, yeah.
Now
level.
the question is, where are they going?
I think I
don't-
know. I think we all know.
Do you think?
Yeah, I think so.
I have an idea as well, but I'm not going to mention it online.
That's right. That's right. Go where the money's at.
Yep. I have some ideas for. I have ideas for both of them. I don't think they both go to the same manufacturer. I think they go to different ones.
Yeah, I'd go with that. Of course, Gillingham is
Oh,
like
music.
Ryan.
They're
Special.
asking for music.
Oh. So Cole swore up and down that he could hear y'all earlier.
I think so too. He looked and waved at the camera.
Yeah. How's he hearing you?
Like, we're not talking that loud.
No.
There's music going.
No.
Like, he smiled and waved at the camera. You'll see it.
On cue.
On cue.
Yeah.
And I was like, I think he can hear us. Can you hear us, Wendy? Like,
Did he hear what
she
we
goes,
said about
I don't
it?
know how he can hear us.
No, it's same way. I said,
Like-
does he hear him?
Like, our voices do carry. I can tell you that much. Next week is going to be fun. It would be pretty awesome if we see Cole in those finals. So the finals, let's say Cole makes it to the finals.
Houston
Rodeo.
Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo.
Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo makes it to the finals.
Okay.
This is what it's going to look like. I'm going to paint a picture for you. We're going to take platforms and stick them at 20 yards. They're going to stand on those platforms. We're
Top
going
8?
Huh?
Top 8?
Top 8 make it.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. Top 8, so they'll have a qualifier. Top 8 will make it to the shoot, the eliminations.
Okay.
When you make it to the gold medal match, they're going to finish out. They're just going to go head-to-head all the way till bronze is identified. Done, okay? Then they're going to go, the 2 that made it to the gold medal match will then shoot later in the day.
Okay.
And that's when we'll set up for that. So that'll be all just the seniors. The juniors will shoot all the way through and get their gold medal match and their silver match and be
Just
done.
be done.
Okay. So we fast forward. All right. So now we have our gold medal match for the 5 divisions. I believe it's 5 divisions. And we will go division by division, group by group. So we'll have 1 platform, 2 platforms they'll stand on. We're going to have TV monitors at their feet so they have cameras on the target so that they can see exactly what they're shooting because they only have 20 seconds to shoot an arrow. So they'll shoot. Right when they shoot, the other person has to be ready to shoot back and forth. Okay? 4 ends. Top score wins gold.
Just like Lancaster type.
Just like Lancaster.
Okay.
You're going to have a coach behind them. Could be dad. Could be whoever, standing behind there. You're going to have an agent down there that's going to make sure that the arrows are called correctly for you because we want somebody down there. We'll have a judge, of course, down there judging. So the judges will go down. They'll call the arrows. The agents are there just to make sure that that's right. And then we'll have an arrow runner that after they shoot, they'll take those arrows and bring them back to the archers, and we'll go again. So that the archers, once they stand on that platform, they'll never get off. Of course, it'll be live. We'll have live coverage of each one of those matches.
I was just about to say, do I get to go up there with the microphone like PJ? And
Yeah,
ask some
if you want
questions
to,
about their
absolutely.
equipment and-
We got mics. We can make that happen.
Oh man, put
We
the
can
pressure on them.
Totally make that happen. When we shot the ringer here, we went ahead and did the voices from here.
I watched it live. At
Yeah,
home.
yeah.
It was awesome.
They were like, oh. So same idea. The ringer was our test bed to see, okay, does this all work? Is this what we're going to want to do? How do we want to do it? That's when we started making some decisions on what do we want the equipment to look like. Hold on 1 second.
Go ahead.
Is that good? I can't even hear it. Hey, we're just checking. All right, we're good. We're good on the sound.
And we're back.
We got a little music going down there. Had to turn it down just a hair. It's funny. The group this morning, they liked it loud. They were like, did you notice it was a lot
I don't know,
louder?
were they saying okay or were they saying turn it up?
They were talking. We turned it up.
Oh, okay.
They may have said okay, but we were turning it up. They didn't seem to complain.
I got a message, somebody that was watching live, a buddy of mine. He said it looks like Cole approves of the music, so I guess they saw Cole on camera dancing. And
So
I had to guess that's what it was.
So somebody just asked, how do you know if you are in for the rodeo? There's Cheney Elliott, full draw, Texas A&M. Okay, I'll just go ahead and move. I'm just going to jump around here. She's a sophomore at Texas A&M. So how do you know if you're in the top 8? Well, you're going to have to. We're using eyes on score, so it's going to be live scoring. So we'll know Saturday and Sunday. Of course, you'll know where you are on Sunday.
Real time.
Real time. The problem is there is still a qualifier Sunday morning. So what you'll have to do is, if you're on the bubble, you're probably going to have to drive down there.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's sorry. It is what it is.
Hey, that's
what
archery.
they had to do. They had to do that to try to accommodate some of the archers that wanted to shoot on Sunday. So if you're on the bubble, you're just going to have to go down. When that elimination round ends, probably right around 11, probably about 11:30. Everybody will know. They can look online and they'll know who is in the top 8.
Okay.
In the past, 4-H would text you if you were in the top 8, and then you would just show up the next morning.
So from what I understand, last year we didn't shoot an elimination.
Right.
But the years before that they had.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
And it's been a little different this year we're changing it up because I like to make it a big deal for these youth.
Absolutely.
So we're going to make it a big deal. Top 8 are going to move on, and you'll know your top 8 by just looking at the live scores. So if you can, you may have the ability to look at it. You may have the ability to go ahead and look at, okay, my son, there's 5 people in the division. They're averaging this. Okay, it does look like I'm going to make it. Or you can look at the average and go, okay, looks like we're not going to make it. So you can kind of look at that and figure it out, save yourself a drive. But if it was me, all right, there's instant replay. We're testing. That is a recording of his last shot.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Boom. Last shot recording. So what we're, I'm jumping around a little bit, but what we're doing is she's practicing her instant replay for the shoot off. So when somebody shoots and we're like, wow, look at that shot, she can go ahead and replay it for us. It's not as easy as you'd think. Like, we don't have a $10,000 system. That's part of the problem. If we had a $10,000 system, then we could do that easily. But for a much smaller system that just was made for recording, we kind of converted it so that can do a little bit of instant replay
Tell you
for
what,
us.
Scott, what y'all have done so far with all the cameras and the live coverage and the eyes on score, all ago you touched on it. You said you'd like to blow it up for the youth, and that's really what it's all about. What y'all have done so far, if you could see what's back here where I'm sitting, pretty sure Joe Rogan's in here somewhere.
Right.
For the podcast. I'm waiting for him to come in here. It's pretty awesome. It's great. Y'all had Cole on last year at Livestock Show.
We plan on having him on again.
Oh, man. I'm going to have to coach him up.
That's right. Get him ready.
Yeah,
I know.
last year he...
Well, let's just say his interview will probably show up at one of the breaks on live coverage.
Okay.
Because his was pretty funny.
Yeah.
He was the one that we asked. So what would be your advice to any archer coming here? And he says, bring another pair of pants.
Yeah, fresh pair of underwear.
That's what, fresh pair of underwear. Well, this year it'll probably be like that because you standing on a platform is legit.
Yes.
We had Connor Sears, if you know that name.
Dude.
Connor Sears was one of the youngest 900 Vegas 900 shooters in history, and he came here after maybe 2 years after that. We had a big shoot just for fun. We put him on a platform. Afterwards, he was like, legit, that was the most nervous I've been ever. I'm like,
Been all over
bigger
the
than
place,
Vegas? He's like, Vegas is different. Like, you can't compare it. But he goes, I'm on that stage. There's nobody here. He goes, he knows I'm doing live coverage of it. And he's like, I am like, my legs shaking because
Is there 5 people? Is there 5,000?
Right,
You don't
right.
know.
You just don't know.
Yeah.
You don't know.
Yeah.
Like, easily we have, 6, 7 people listening right now.
I mean, it is Sunday prime time.
Yeah. We're sitting at about 20 people watching, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
How we have it is we can broadcast to basically I can broadcast to 8 different platforms at one time. Right now I'm only doing it to Facebook for Raising an Archer, Facebook for Texas Archery, and our YouTube channel.
Okay.
When
YouTube Live.
Yep. When we do the rodeo, we'll add their Facebook page to it as well. So we'll broadcast to at least, a few. I'll probably remove, I probably won't do Facebook for, I may not do our YouTube channel. I don't know what I'll do, but I'll probably do them all, to be honest.
What's his first name?
That's Zach Rebstock.
Zach, okay.
So Zach is...
He's your guy.
He's our guy. He is a excellent shooter. He's struggling a little bit with... he's changed some stuff on his bow. He's changed releases. He's a 60X shooter.
Mm-hmm.
He tried to shoot this weekend, and his release was just not doing well at all.
Mine tends to do that.
There's Peyton.
Tends to go off in the wrong place.
Right. Here's Peyton Smith coming into her last arrow. She shoots for Texas Archery. She shoots for Texas Archery JOAD. She is one of our staff shooters. Excellent
Another
shooter.
Hoyt.
She won Vegas last year in her division, so she was number 1 as a
Look at that.
as a cub.
Still
So-
clean. Ooh, she barely almost lost one there.
Yeah.
Oh, she did on that one.
That could have been practice.
Could have.
We'll
Could
find
have,
out.
you're right.
We'll find out here. She's on the bubble. She's on the bubble. Like she is 11. No, she just turned 12. She just turned
Okay.
12 years old. And any kid that's
She's
12, that's
top of the intermediate.
yeah,
or-
yeah. She's the
somewhere there.
youngest. No, she's the youngest in her division.
Oh, okay.
So she just moved from 10 yards, which man, she was shooting 59 X's
Yeah.
at 10.
Yeah.
So you come over here and it's a little bit of a struggle because they're just so accurate at 10. You move to 20 and now it's like, ugh.
The mental side.
The mental
big killer.
side.
Yeah.
But she has potential to shoot a 300 even at 12 years old.
Cole just stepped into the senior class,
Mm-hmm.
and at least in most 4-H divisions, and that's been a big step for him. I told him he's had enough time picking on the intermediate kids.
Right now he's got to step it up.
That's it. That's it. Play up. That's what challenges him. We talked about it earlier. He shot next to Tiny Dancer, Daryl,
Oh, yeah.
earlier.
Yep, Daryl.
And Daryl kept him on his toes and kept him wrangled in there and let him finish out his round pretty strong. But if it wasn't for Daryl being there next to him, challenging him and shooting
Yeah, it's
59 X's next to him, you know?
and I got to tell you, there's something to that. You know, if
Oh,
if
absolutely.
nobody was shooting 300s, you get lax.
Absolutely.
And you're like, I shot X, but I'm
Yep.
still shooting better than
Got
everybody else.
Kids younger than you, not
Yeah.
not taking it as serious next to you, stuff
we
like
had
that.
our last time we had 359X 300s.
Yeah.
I can't believe not one of them got the 60. It's it's like they're so close.
Yeah.
But man,
How
that
many
60X,
times?
that 60X is tough.
Yes, it is.
I'll tell you, Ryan shot. He told me at one point, he's like, I think I'm the king of 59s. Like he had shot so many
pretty good place to be.
59Xs, and he would drop one in the first round, first end, and then clean it. Or like, for example, I just remember this one specifically. We're at nationals out in Kentucky, and he is clean going into the last 5 arrows. 55 X's, he shoots 56, 57, and on the 58th arrow, he shoots a big 5. It's not even close. And then he just inside outs the next 2. He's just shaking his head like, I cannot believe I just did that. He goes, seriously, the nerves got to him. So he shoots a 59X at nationals.
If you're going to
But,
do it all the way out.
Right. I was like, man, that would have been cool to have your first 60X. But the one thing that I was really pleased about was Ryan shot his first 60X here at Texas Archery at our first SYWAT of the season and last year, and it was pretty exciting for him to get that. That was we've had 4 people now shoot 60Xs here. We had
Connor.
since we've been giving out buckles at 20 yards. We had Connor and Logan Hamilton shoot it all at the same time.
I was here for one of Connor's. It might have been the same.
So Connor shot it a second time the next year. And then he shot it twice in one season. And then Ryan was the third person to shoot a 60X. And then we had our first adult. They were all still youth at that point. I considered them youth. They're college students.
Utes.
Then we had Derek Begno shoot a 60X on Friday night. So that's 3 years in a row now that we've had people shoot 60Xs, which is pretty cool. And I've got a special buckle for those too. So if you shoot a 60X here, we give out a special 60X buckle, which I think is pretty cool.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't know what's going on down there. Huh? What happened? Oh, they just called the judge over. Let's see. Peyton was clean. We were asking if one of those was out.
Oh, we got
that was our
scores up.
practice end. So let's see here. Manuela is 48. She's Olympic recurve shooting really well.
Wow.
Sarah is shooting very well for. Let's see. We've got. Is she Barebow? Sarah. Yeah. Wait a minute. No. This is. Freestyle limited recurve. She shot a 49 so far. Very good shooting.
Wow.
That's pretty legit for a youth. We have. Let's see. Madison Wood still clean with 50. We have Logan Saxman with 50. John Michael with 49.
Right behind me.
Carson Cray and Cheney are both freestyle adults, and they are Aggies shooting here. Carson, I believe,
Whoop.
is I think they're both sophomores. I think Carson and Cheney are both sophomores at Texas A&M. They're both clean with 50. Carson has dropped 1X so far. Jeremy Woodrup is 50. Zach, let's see here. We have Zach Wooldridge with 50 and Zach Rebstock with 50.
There's our Aggie crew.
Yep. Cole, still clean with 50. Peyton Smith with a 50. Josh Carter with a 50. All right, so we have several
good
that are
shooting going on.
several clean as we're going. Dan Kofer, which is the one that's bow blew up, he's at 50. Austin Stewart is at 50. He's a Cub shooting 10 yards. He's a good little shooter from Texas Archery, JOAD team.
By clean
All right.
Scott, you're saying that they all remained what?
When I say clean, I'm saying that they haven't dropped a 4 yet, so they're all they've hit only 5s.
Gotcha.
We don't have. There's no one that is still clean on X's.
All 20 of our viewers probably know that, but just in case.
Yeah, no, that's a good question. Well, let me take that back. Josh Carter is clean with 10 X's. You can see this if you want to go to eyesonscore.com. On your phone, there's going to be 3 little lines up in the top right corner. Wendy calls it a hamburger.
Hamburger.
Don't know why, but she does. If you click on that,
Hamburger.
right, it's like a little bit, they're wider on top maybe, but still hamburger. Click on it, click on live scores, and you're going to see this is the only event that's there. Click on it, and you're going to see all the live scores.
If you find your archer, you can favorite, star them, like them, something like that. So it puts them at the top. You can watch their score
Yep.
for those parents, grandparents, cousins, folks watching.
So let's see, where's Vivian? So Vivian is on 9B. Can you go ahead and, when we come up on the next round, let's go ahead and highlight Vivian because Vivian's grandmother is watching.
Oh,
Estella, we'll go ahead and take care of you.
When the lights are out and you stumble in the dark, you kept pushing on, but then you went too far. When your ship has sailed and all your dreams are lost, everything is wrong, you feel like it's your fault. Just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life is lemons, just remember. Just remember. Just remember. You're stronger now than you ever been. You gotta leave now, it's time to catch the wind. You will climb up high and look through the clouds. And when you're feeling low, I know you'll bounce back. Oh, and just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just remember. Just remember. Just remember. Just remember. if we dance in the blizzard, we are not getting cold. So keep on dancing, baby. Dance, 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 yeah. Dance, yeah. Baby, dance, 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 yeah. Dance, yeah. Baby. We fall apart, piece by piece. That's how the little things get huge. Just keep on moving to the beat. Don't let them get the best of you. When you are under the weather, getting caught in the storm. Do you remember? I told you if we dance in the blizzard, we are not getting cold. So keep on dancing, baby. Dance, 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 oh, dance, yeah. Baby, dance, 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 yeah. Dance, yeah. Baby. You know the drama is never ending. Don't let it get the best of you. And all the fake friends just keep pretending. That's how the little things get huge. Paralyzing every pore. Oh, you feel it taking over you. To the center of your core. The lies are getting overused. When you are under the weather, getting caught in the storm. Do you remember? I told you if we dance in the blizzard, we are not getting cold. So keep on dancing, baby. 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 Dance, 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 yeah. Dance, yeah. Dance,
All right, we are back. Sorry, I do run a shop here, so I had to run downstairs, take care of something real quick. I'm gonna have to take a day off at some point. I think my wife's just like, "Hey, take a day off." I mean, it's been a few weeks.
We got some people watching over there. I seen they put up some.
All right, so here we go. I'm sure Jacqueline had the cameras going good for us. Oh yeah.
Yeah. For people at home who don't know, how old are you, Jacqueline? 14. The person in charge of all these cameras, all at one time, all the fades in and outs and fancy little maneuvers. 14-year-old doing it.
And I got to tell you, I'll tell you, Dusty, there is, when you watch what she does, so she'll flip to an archer, and then you'll see another camera changing. Sure. And what she's doing is she's getting the one camera on the archer and then changing to their target so that you can see both, that she can switch between them. She's got picture-in-picture. So she's planning out each one of the cameras as she's doing it. And she's pre-programmed all these cameras. So, for example, on camera 1, if she wanted to go to target 1, she's about to change. See how she's setting up one of the cameras with another archer? Mm-hmm. So she just hit a button. But everything's pre-programmed where she can go, hey, I want to go to bail 1. She'll hit a button, and it goes right to bail 1 automatically.
She can just zoom in where she needs.
Yeah, so she does all the pre-programming so that happens.
It's one of our Leon County guys right there.
All right. Who is that?
That's Roaring Aaron.
Roaring Aaron.
R-O-R-A-N, I believe. He's been shooting now with us for, I believe, 2 years.
Yeah.
But they just started traveling a little bit, shooting a little more competitively. They're big into the 4-H.
Did we get a video on Vivian? It looks like we did. She did good. Jacqueline did great. Just looking down there, checking to see how everybody's doing. All right, let's go ahead and take a look real quick on the scores because I've been away for a few minutes. We are 15 arrows in so far, finishing up on the 20th, which will be on a normal SYWAT target. Or scorecard, they group it in 4s. I don't know why they do that. Maybe for every 100, maybe. I don't know.
To figure.
Maybe math is a little easier. I don't know.
If I'm in charge, it better be.
Right? Just looking at the scores right now.
We have 38 shooters on this line. Is that right?
Maybe. I don't know. Hey, did you count them? I know that we just lost one archer that was having some shoulder issues.
Oh.
Just stopped shooting. Madison Wood, Logan Saxman are clean with 75 points so far. Carson and Cheney are still clean with 75. All our freestyle adults are clean at 75. Cole, 75, 12 X's so far. He's dropped 3. Shooting good. Peyton Smith looks like she's dropped 1, maybe dropped another one, but that's okay. She's, like I said, she's young. She's got, our goal is to stay above in the 290s. She stayed in the 290s.
Yeah.
She's doing really good at 12 years old. She'll outshoot about any guy that's here. Josh Carter, clean with 15 X's right now. Seeing if there's anybody else clean. Dan Kofer, he is 25 or 75 points. There you go. If you want to see the scores, of course, go to eyesonscore.com. Click on the little arrows on the top right corner. If you're on the phone, click on live scoring, and you'll see that's the only event there. This one, click on it, and you'll be able to see the scores. Like Dusty was saying, you could go ahead and put stars next to the name and, all that good stuff.
What is Eyes on Score, Scott? Is that something you bought?
Eyes on Score. Eyes on Score was my brainchild 3 years ago. I was going to these national events, and they had live scoring, but that was about the only place that had live scoring. I grumbled about it for years, and then finally my wife said, why don't you do something about it?
Yeah.
And so I hired some developers, had kind of this high-level vision of what I wanted to do. They started working on it, and then COVID hit. So we started in November, December, maybe even January, maybe in January of 2020. And then COVID hit. We shifted at that point. I brought on a couple investors at that point to make it happen. Some people that were in the archery. And so the three of us worked on that. I've worked very close with the developers over the last 2 years, 3 years maybe, coming up on 3 years. We, at 2 years, we felt like we had a good product, and we went live at the beginning of the year. It was good, and it's getting better.
I was about to say, it's progressively gotten, just being around it for the last year or so.
It gets better every time.
Always a little tweak that's happening.
We're tweaking. Like we this summer we went ahead and put everything on hold and said we are going to fix all the little things that need to be fixed. And so it took a couple months to just fix all these just little things that were bothering us. And the funny part is our JOAD club is a big part of what that thing looks like, because they would use it. I use them as my test bed, and they would use it and say, oh, you know what would be nice if you did this? Like, okay, jot it down. Yeah. We'd do it. We would run big tournaments and go, you know what would be nice is, like, just recently, at the end of the summer, we added the feature in the back end where you can just click on the time, and it only shows on the back end the scores that are happening right now in that time frame. Because before, it would show them all, and it was a real pain to go through and try to figure out all the different scores for each person that was here, because you would have to look, who has 20 arrows? Okay, and I'd go through them.
It brings the real time down to a point.
Brings it down just to, 38 archers. So that way it's an easy way to, when I did that at our state tournament, I'm like, man, that was like gold. Like, we had to do it because we had so many archers. We had 130 archers shooting at one time, basically. So you have trying to figure out who, if there's an issue with any of the bales, anybody not scoring, anything like that.
One of those clout
tournaments. It was such a such a hassle. On the back end. Now it's much easier. We have a lot. In the next couple weeks, some major changes are coming in on the app. Major looks to the change. Okay. The back end is still the same. On the actual app, we're going to change it from, there's two ways to do scoring. One is a secure way. One is just basically an open number, meaning the secure way is, let's just say that you and I were on bale 1. You're going to be the scorer. Well, the system would text you a secure code. You would put in your email address and that code. Now you're the only one that has that code, so you can get into the system. You can go ahead and score.
One time.
Like
we get for banking. And all
exactly.
That stuff. Okay.
No one else can log in without that code and your email address, so you're in. What we found was everybody was telling us at first, it's got to be secure, got to be secure. Turns out nobody uses it.
Yeah.
So what we did was we came up with an option last year that we can associate a number with each bale. So bale 1 is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
They get their
bale
pin
2
number,
is 1, 2, 3, 5, 7. And so each one of them has a number. That number is associated to that tablet for the entire weekend. So the beautiful part about that is that, like, just like for today, we shot this morning. I turned on all the tablets. They literally, when they turned on, they all synced with the new data. I didn't do anything. I set them out. They're ready to go. When the morning one turned off, I went ahead and turned it off. Turned on this time. When you click on it, and the system, the app will actually say, "Oh, you need to resync." You'll hit resync, and all the archers show up. Oh, wow. Super slick. I don't have to do anything to make that happen.
And as a 4-H organization or a JOAD group, that's available to me or anybody out there, right?
Yeah, it is.
And it's not expensive.
No, it's we charge $300 a year if you want. There is a free option. The free option, the only problem with the free option is you can't use Excel. Excel is almost a must when using the app. So $300 a year, you might say, okay, that's kind of expensive. If you run a tournament, if you have a club, a lot of people are donating. Like, parents are just donating $300 to the club to get the club live
because
scoring.
They want it.
They want it for their JOAD team. Yeah,
that's me.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, if you're going to run a pin shoot, have everybody log in, go.
Done.
So everything's live, so parents can see what's going on during the live shoot. You want, if you have a league, it has a setting for leagues. It works for any organization, meaning it will run if you want an NFAA field shoot that uses 5s for X's, boom, done. If you're shooting outdoor USA, which is 6 arrows with a 10 and an X, done. If you want to shoot an indoor shoot for USA, 10s, no X's, done. The system knows how to do that. It just depends on when you configure it. You configure it for USA, you can configure it for NFAA,
3D
whatever.
stuff?
It works for 3D. So if you want a 3D shoot, you set X's to 12, and guess what? Now the calculator on the phone is 12, 10, 8, 5,
Automatic.
miss. Automatic.
Cool.
The cool part about 3D, we've run a few 3D tournaments, and we've run several field tournaments with it. The part that when we ran our first field shoot, we realized, I ran it with another organization. They very quickly were like, wow, this is amazing how you know exactly where the archers are. So years passed, you get down to the end, you're like, okay, who's in? Okay, they're like on an Excel file trying to figure out, okay, we've got three groups still out there. We have no idea where they are. They have people going out trying to figure out, where are they? Are they on this one? Do they have this many bales left? You know,
Where
all
they're
that
in the
stuff.
course.
And when we ran it here, when we ran it 2 years ago, during our testing, they knew that Group 8 has 2 bales to go. Group 3 has 1 bale to go. So they knew exactly where they were. Nobody had to go out and find out. They knew where they were. So you could just look at the scores and know what
When will
bale
it be
they were
done?
on.
Yep.
There were spots where they lost internet. No big deal. They would go down to a valley. They'd lose it. But guess what? How the system works is when it goes offline, you can continue to add scores.
Locks it in.
And it puts it in cache on the phone. And then whenever you come out of the valley or wherever the dead spot was, it pops up and says, hey, resync. You hit resync and all the scores update and you know exactly where you are.
In the world we live in, that sounds pretty simple, but in the archery world, that's groundbreaking.
Oh, it's huge.
It's huge. Coming from the index cards and little
Like you have no idea.
pencils
And then also for field, you might know that evening where you were, but more than likely it's going to be the next morning
Yeah.
when you show up.
when everybody's turned in.
Yeah, all the scores are in. They'll put it on. They'll print it off, stick it up on the wall. Now, once the tournament ends, you know exactly where you are. You know exactly what you scored. They'd scored on every end. And with USA Archery, kind of locking down a little bit on allowing parents to go because you have to have USA Archery considers the field field of
line.
play.
Right.
So if you walk past any of that, now you have to have a background check. You got to have all this stuff to be able to be
Coach or whatever.
Yep, to be with your student or not with your student, but with your archer. So that gives now it gives the ability for a parent to even just sit at Starbucks and watch exactly what's going on.
Starbucks.
Yeah, I don't know, Dutch Brothers, whatever.
There we go.
Whatever.
That's a little better.
But it allows you to kind of sit back and let's see. That's Madison Wood. There you go. Good shot. So there's a lot of good things. The one thing that I'm realizing is a lot of directors are loving the app. For example, I just mentioned that we had our outdoor shoot. It's 130 archers. When they turned their scorecards in on day 2, day 1 was done. We turned everything in. Day 2, we finished up. It was hot. We had started early. Everybody wanted to get out of there. We finished right at 12 o'clock. Everybody turned in their scorecards and their tablets. By 12:30, I'm already out there announcing awards. By 1 o'clock, we're done.
2 o'clock, we're eating.
Yeah,
Restaurant somewhere.
you're gone.
Yeah.
In the past, it would take hour and a half to collect everything, get
Totaling,
everything ready,
tallying, yeah.
make sure everything's right, and then hand it out. And so 2 hours later, everybody's out of there. But it's just nothing more beautiful to me is when we're collecting them. There was another group of people getting all the awards ready. And so I was like, okay, are we done? And they're just like, yes, we've collected all the tablets. I would just go, good. I would just walk over with my cell phone and start announcing all the awards.
Just like that.
Just like that.
It's right
Hand
now.
them right out.
Yeah.
And we were done.
Digital world we live in now.
Yep. And I think that is right there is a huge selling point for the app.
It is.
The other thing is registration. So you can
Signing
collect
up.
all your registrations online now, and it goes directly into the system. I think that's something that archery has been missing for the local state level. So going through Sports 80 is a little bit of a challenge, for something like this. We needed something generic, so we did. The other thing is we're very flexible because we have direct access to our developers. So last year, I've been doing the SYWAT for a while, and this thing kept growing. When we got to 190 archers, 200 archers shooting, like that is a lot of work to manually put every one of those into their system, into TFA system. So I was like, what do I need to do? They're like, oh, you need an Excel file that's in this format. Done. Send it to the developers. Developers created a download that redoes all the data into that format. So when this thing is done here at 4 o'clock, I can download the file and I can go ahead and import it into their system. It'll take all of about 30 seconds to upload everything in. Wow. That's my daughter. Yeah, you see those binoculars that she was using? Those are the SIG.
Rangefinder.
They're not rangefinders. They're stability binoculars.
It's got the gimbal in them.
Yeah.
Yes, those are awesome.
Those things are sick.
They are. I looked through them one time at a tournament here just 2 weeks ago, maybe. So I think it was at Brazos and Bryan.
Yeah.
The guy had them. He said, try these out. I looked through them. I said, yeah, they're nice. He said, now push this button. I said, look through them again.
Yeah, like the little...
Yeah. Everything in there, a little
just
bit of
slow
movement,
down.
Just dead still. Like you put them on a tripod.
Yep. Yeah, they're amazing.
Back to your eyes on score. We were at a 3D in Comanche, Texas just yesterday. And we shot with another young kid. And we were explaining to him about eyes on score. He'd never heard of it. And some people, 99% of the people anyway, they react the same way he did. He said, you mean to tell me we can see them right now? I can see everybody's?
Yes, you can.
I said, you can. You can watch, and you know that, for example, last year at Houston, we're on one end of the line. And there's how many of our kids there were on the line last year at Houston? There was tons of them. And there's lots of kids competing, but there's always that 10 to 12 that are going to be the top tier kids that you're worried about. And we're watching that kid down there. We're watching, oh, he dropped one, he dropped 20, dropped 20, dropped 1.
And in the past too, it was like, how do you find out where they're at? It's like like you're like trying to figure out where they're at, and you're trying to binocular there. And like I don't know.
It's all right there.
I don't know. Maybe it's 310s. Maybe it was 39s. I don't know.
It's all right there.
But yeah, that way you can actually see exactly what's going on and where everybody falls. The app will give. Let me look here real quick. Click on it.
Cole's grandmother's one of his biggest cheerleaders, probably, and she watches it all the time. If you're live, she watches this, and then if she can see the scorecard, if this isn't on, she could at least see the scorecard wherever we're at. We'll give her the login, and she can see it. And every shot, real time.
So you can look, if you go to live scoring and you click on the name, it actually will bring up their scorecard of exactly what it is. Mm-hmm. We used to have an option on here to download and print. It was terrible. I had them turn it off because it would print on 2 pages.
Oh.
So they're fixing. That's another thing that's being fixed, so that you can go ahead and just click on a button and it downloads it or it prints it just like a scorecard.
Oh, okay.
So that's coming. Also, we approved bracketing. So it will, here in the next 4 months, what that means is that we can set up a tournament with a qualifier. Everybody shoots a qualifier. And then when you want brackets, it already has everybody ranked. You click brackets, and it creates the bracket for the division. And then we do live scoring off of brackets.
Wow.
So you'll have head-to-head. So one of the persons on the bill will use their phone or a tablet to score it. Whoever wins, when they hit win or whenever they finish it, they'll win. And we'll stop the time, start the next one, and it moves everybody to the next level.
It already knows.
Yep.
Once again, save so much time.
Oh, that I'm so pumped about that. I cannot wait for brackets. We've been talking about it. We've been trying to approve it. Every time I try to approve it, there's something else that needs to be cleaned up. And I'm like, oh, yeah, we're going to move forward to brackets. And I've had the paperwork. I've had all the documentation ready for it for 9 months. Because I created a whole bracket system through Excel so they knew exactly what I wanted and how I wanted it to look.
How many shooters do we have this morning? Do you remember? Do you know?
30, 36, 33. I think it's 33.
Just a few more this afternoon.
Oh, no, this morning it was 30. Oh, we were full. Yeah, we were full this morning. We were
really?
totally full. So we had 30. Yeah, we had 30. 33. Yeah, it was 33 because there was only 2. There were 20 yards were full. We had 2 open spots for the 10-yarders. So we've done a little more here. 2, 3.
And then what about yesterday?
We did over about 120 archers yet. From Friday to Saturday, I think it was about 120 archers. So we'll be pushing, definitely be pushing the 200.
How many years have you been doing SYWAT, Scott?
This is my 3rd year. So when I first came in, we were doing about.
You've been at the shop longer than that, though, hadn't you?
No, it's been about
3 years?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, about 3 years. When I did my first SYWAT, the average was about 60 to 70 archers for the weekend is what
For
we
the
were doing
weekend.
for the weekend. And our first one was kind of the first one out of COVID. And we had like 110 archers. We were like, this is crazy.
People were dying to get out.
Yeah,
They were stale.
110, 120. We're just like, I told David, I was like, this is nuts.
Gotta do
They were having
something.
so many archers.
We need an app.
Yeah. And so then the next year we did live scoring. And when I introduced live scoring, our numbers went up again. And then last year I really had it fine. You know, everybody knew at that point that we were going to do live scoring. And we pushed 190 archers last year. I think we had scored 190 had scored. I'm not sure where we at right now.
Y'all host two weekends?
Yep. And sectionals.
Yeah, it's quite the growth.
Yeah. Let's see. Maybe I can do a quick view here to see. I might be able to figure it out quickly. How many archers we have that have scored. I'm gonna clean up the document just a little bit. Yeah, it's going to take me a little bit of time. But I'll go through here and just figure out how many actually have scored this weekend. We've had a few that no shows, and the percentage was normally about 10% no shows. I think initially I thought we were at maybe about 6% no shows, but I think that our number is actually going to be better this year on the no shows. I think it's going to be right around that 6. Well, better than years past. I think it's going to be right about 6% of no shows. We do a lot of fun stuff for this. You know, the live coverage I think is something people enjoy. Almost didn't do it, but decided to do it because people were asking for it. My wife's like, you know what, you should do it because
Absolutely.
everybody likes it. The only reason why I was considering not doing it was because we were trying to get ready for the rodeo. But to turn out, this was actually a good thing because our no-shows, all this new equipment allowed Jacqueline to really kind of zero in on what everything's going to look like with the new setup.
There's Cole. There he goes. 5 X's.
5 X's. What if there's an easier way for me to figure this out? Oh, I know how to do it. This will do it. Just trying to figure out real quick here on an Excel file. Where are we for the weekend? I'll know right away.
I would have to have an IT guy sitting back here with us
Right?
for what you're doing right now.
There we go. There's the no-shows. I was trying to get out of there. 175.
For
That looks like
total this year?
Total this year,
And this is the first
which is
SYWAT.
interesting. Maybe I'll have to double check those numbers. That seems a little low because we had 190 signed up, but we had a lot of reshoots too. So that's what's kind of interesting. Maybe I'm not getting. Let me look here. Maybe oh no, I am getting all the scores right now.
There we go.
From everybody. But, right about
Got it.
75, that's good. It's a good weekend. Several lines were completely full. Oh, wait a minute. I am missing some numbers here. It looks like Friday night didn't show up for some reason. Maybe. Let me see. Oh, there we go. They did show up. Yeah, it's about 175 that have shot. Still good numbers. Roughly 175.
So Houston next weekend.
Yep.
Following weekend should be the
Aggie
first
invite.
Aggie invite. Are you going to be there?
Yep. Well, I'll be judging.
Oh, okay. No live coverage.
No live coverage. The plan is to judge it.
Yeah, we'll be there.
Here. So we're consistently running about 20 plus 20 plus people watching this live, which is worth it to me.
Sure.
Why not, right?
Saw one person on there a while ago said they had 8 people in their living room watching at one time. So that's 28.
That's pretty cool.
27 at least, huh?
Getting to see everybody. If you want somebody specific to be seen, you let us know. We'll get the camera on them.
Taking requests.
Yep.
I thought I was going to be called to work today. It looks like we're actually going to get it all the way in.
Nice.
Finish out. I was worried I was going to have to cut you short.
Were you on call?
Yeah, I'm on call all the time.
All the time. Where are we? Let's check the results. I've been working on this for the last 15 minutes. So this is the 6th end. So we'll be at the halfway mark. And
At the end of this one.
At the end of this one, how's everybody looking? Madison Wood, still clean. Logan has dropped 1. Carson is clean with 125. Cheney is clean with 125. Jeremy is clean with 125. Zach Rebstock, 125. Zach Wooldridge, 120. Oh, no, 118. Sorry. Cole Ware, your boy, 125. 20 X's. His X count's a little lower than last time, but still shooting solid. Peyton's dropped a couple. Not bad. Josh Carter is clean with 125.
We talk about dropping an X like it's a big deal. We're
Right.
trying to shoot a 50-cent piece, or just probably a little bit bigger than a 50-cent piece, I guess.
Yeah, it's
Just a hair bigger.
Still
Trying to shoot that at
over and over
20
and
yards,
over.
60 times in a row.
Yeah,
So to break in, to even get above in the 40s is pretty solid.
yeah, it's true.
And we're also talking about kids that are 12, 14, 15 years old doing it. That's what's unbelievable.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
All right, we'll have a little treat for you guys. Hopefully, you haven't seen part of it already. If this is your first time to join us, we're gonna at the break. It'll be probably about 15 minutes. I'm gonna start it here pretty quick. Let me go ahead and get over to it. You're gonna get to see Wendy and I did a podcast with Matthew Parmenter, which kid's 16 years old. If anybody has a youth archer, you should listen to this podcast because this kid is amazing and gives you just kind of a glimpse into what it takes to shoot at the level that he shoots
he's
at.
a different level.
He shoots at a different level. He is one of the top archers in the nation, and just to hear what his life consists of and how he treats personal life versus archery life, and it's really kind of it's pretty impressive.
15 or 16?
16.
You said 16.
He's 16.
He's 16's at a different level.
Yeah. Yeah, it really is. He is, when you start listening to him, you're like, wow, he is pretty on top of things. Mm-hmm. So we're going to go ahead while they're doing this. We're going to go ahead it'll be about 15 minutes by right now until they get back, probably about 15 minutes. So go ahead and enjoy this video podcast. If you want to listen to it, it's on Raising an Archer on all major podcast platforms. The other option is video, and you can go to patreon.com and you can see it there. The only caveat is if you want to watch it on video, there is a small cost, and part of that small cost is just to try to help us continue to grow this sport. We put all this money, all those dollars toward this type of stuff. All right? We appreciate it. Yep. Here you go.
Who is ready for raising an archer?
Me.
All right, we have Matthew Parmenter here with us, and what a pleasure it is to have you on the show with us.
It really is. I don't know why it's taken this long.
I know. I pushed the issue. She didn't want to have you.
Oh yeah, that was it.
Yeah,
That was it. I was like, no, really, he's a good kid. And she's like, I don't know.
Well, I'm thrilled to be here, so thank you.
Well, Matthew
See? Already.
Yeah, Matthew is one of the top recurve archers, youth archers in Houston, if not in the nation.
Yeah.
And we wanted to have you on the show, kind of
I love it.
get to
He
know
goes,
you.
mm-hmm.
Yep. Even though he did come in third place in his first national competition.
That was his first national.
First nationals with the first year.
At
he
11,
comes in third. Yeah.
5 years ago.
Yeah.
I just don't bring that up.
We won't bring up that you got
Thank
beat
you.
by your little
That
brother,
was-
but
Painful memories right there.
he's all of a sudden in the corner rocking back and forth.
Yep.
Stupid third place.
To my brother who got second.
At my middle school, that's the only thing anyone ever remembers about my archery is that Ben beat me.
No way.
Yep.
Oh, that's awful.
Yeah, because he made sure to tell a lot of people.
I don't. Why would he do that?
I have no idea.
See,
why would
being
they
an
do
only
that?
child, I wouldn't know anything about that.
So we have Matthew here. We want to kind of introduce him to everybody. So Matthew, tell us what discipline do you shoot? How old you are?
So I'm 16 years old, and I shoot Olympic recurve with a win-and-win bow.
How long have you been shooting?
I've been shooting for 5.5 years now, since this summer going into my 6th grade year. And that's been for the past 4 years now, 5 to 7 times a week. So,
All right, 5 to 7. That was one of the questions I was going to ask. And how did you get into archery?
So I got into archery because I was reading this book series called Ranger's Apprentice by John Flanagan. And it's this phenomenal series. And in it, the main character is this little boy who picks up archery, and it completely changes his life. It takes him all over the world. He gets to do the coolest things ever, and I just thought that was awesome. And so I really, really wanted to give archery a try. And actually for a while, for about 6 or so months, I was just shooting in my backyard with this little Genesis bow we had. And I got pretty good with it, actually. And
He
so
started with a compound.
I did start with a compound. Yep, a little bare bow compound. And so I asked my mom for my birthday if I could have some archery lessons, because I drove past Houston Archery every day on my way to school. I was like, "Hey, Mom, if I just went there, you could just drop me off and then pick me up, and then we'd be all good." And so we did, and I got 4 lessons initially, and the first lesson, it was just phenomenal, and everything kind of clicked, and I understood it, and everything just kind of took off from there. And then within a couple months, I was competing, and then within a year, I'd set a state record and went on to nationals. Yep. Yep.
Awesome. So, how are you and that book character alike now?
Oh boy. Well, I don't know how alike we are, but I went back and read it a couple months ago, and I just cringed at everything I read because I was like, "Oh, that's not possible. That's not happening."
You didn't make those things happen?
No,
No, nope.
Nope,
I
no
just
shot.
straight nope.
Did it say something like he was pulling like a 250-pound recurve bow?
it wasn't 250, but they said he initially started off with an 80-pound one.
Of
Oh.
course, and that's what everybody starts off with.
I was like, "Oh boy." Well, I think the Olympians are around 50. So giving a 14-year-old boy who's never shot before an 80-pound bow a recurve, not the best idea.
That is awesome. 80 pounds
80 pounds, yeah.
for recurve.
So I see your mom lots of places.
Mm-hmm.
Love her. What does she think about? Did she think that it was going to go this far?
Oh, not at all. There's no chance when I got into this that she was gonna that this was gonna take such a major turn and be such an integral part of my life. I mean, the first couple of lessons, it's just like, okay, he's good at this, but it's archery. So,
Right.
I was doing other sports at the time. I was playing basketball. I was playing baseball. And it's not really something when you get into it that you expect to be, so time consuming and so competitive, really. Because it's just something you never hear about. You hear about people going and hunting, but with a recurve bow, I mean, that really doesn't happen that much. So you think of it more as just a recreational thing, kind of for fun. And then once you go to a couple tournaments, man, you just get hooked.
Yes.
So, I mean, it really took off from there. And I think after, there was one tournament. It was here, actually, at Texas Archery, one of the SYWATs. I shot at 299 at 10 yards, and this was after maybe 6 months of shooting. And that kind of flipped a switch in me that I was like, all right, this is for real. I got a shot at doing something in this.
So you mentioned that you started out with a Genesis bow.
Mm-hmm.
And then we talk about you shoot recurve now. So how did that transition happen?
Well, it was actually a very natural transition because I was shooting it just like you would a normal recurve, right? I didn't have a release. I didn't have anything so I was using 3 fingers, and it actually, for the initial first couple of lessons, it actually really helped me with my anchor because, I mean, I'd been doing it for 6 months now, and without any coaching or anything like that, I had gotten a pretty solid form down. And so it actually translated really, really well over just to shooting recurve. Yeah.
What made you go to recurve?
Oh, that's all they offered.
Oh, that's all-
you go
okay.
up to Houston Archery, and if you're up there for lessons, you're shooting recurve.
You've got recurve or recurve.
You got recurve or recurve. Once you get past those initial while, there are some people who shoot bare bow, and then if you want to shoot compound, you have to specifically bring your own bow and talk to James and say, yeah, I'm going to shoot compound.
Okay.
Just held no appeal to me.
So right now, you had said you went to Seth at the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Did you transition to a new coach, or are you still with Seth?
No, so I've had a bunch of coaches over the year. I've gone to Seth, I've gone to Coco, I've gone to Matt, and then I've been with James now for the past couple of years, and he's the one who really specializes on the top guys.
I think I know everyone except Seth.
Seth is James's brother or son-in-law.
Seth is James'
Or
son-in-law.
son.
Son-in-law.
Son-in-law, yeah.
Son-in-law. Yeah.
Okay, he's family.
His family. Yeah.
There we go. Yeah.
What is your favorite thing about archery?
Oh boy, there's a lot, but I think my favorite thing is just that every time I shoot, there's one shot during the 2 or 3 hours I'm shooting that I can pinpoint, and I can feel it at like 7 hours later when I'm going to bed at night and be like, oh, that was a wonderful shot. And after it, you just feel so good. I mean, I call it like my therapy, right? You only need one shot out of the 250 arrows you shoot just to be perfect. And it's such a good feeling knowing that, okay, I've been working so hard, but there's a glimmer of hope. There's,
Yeah, there.
I might
Practice sucked today, but there was that
there's
one
that
shot.
one shot, and then
They weren't all bad.
exactly. Maybe you do it in a tournament. Maybe you have that one perfect shot in a tournament, and you're like, you know what? I just do that every time. And
I love that because what a mental thing right there. Because if everyone could just focus on the one arrow, that one good one, well, then you forget about all the rest of them. And I would think, I could be wrong here, but I would think that would translate into, what did I do to make that one?
Absolutely. I mean, before every shot, if I had a good shot the shot before, I'm thinking, that's like me. That's what I do. That's what the next one's going to be like. Right? Every time I have a good shot, because if you don't reinforce anything, it's a wasted shot. I mean, anyone can shoot 300 arrows and shoot relatively well, right? If they're practicing all the time. But what separates the really, really elite shooters from the guys who shoot a lot is being able to reinforce what they do and really focus on every shot. Because if you're just flinging arrows down to the target, you might shoot pretty well in practice, right? But you're really not going to grow from that. You might get a little muscle memory, but in a sport that's so much about your mental game, you're not gaining anything by just shooting and not thinking about anything. So every shot that I do well, it's all about reinforcing what I did and making the next shot like that.
How mature is that from a 16-year-old? I'm like going, oh my goodness, can we just record that one part and like hit replay for everybody?
Guess what? We did record it.
I did. What I'm talking about is like at home. Hey, Julia, here, listen.
So there was, you mentioned the word fling, and I remember one time talking with Michael Braden and talking about, I said something about flinging arrows, and he just like removed that word from your vocabulary, because that was when we were really, we were first getting into it, because we don't fling arrows as elite archers.
Nope.
It's almost like a business when you show up for practice at this level. Once you get to that level, you have a game plan, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that you were talking a little bit, you kind of touched on the mental part of it, but is there any type of mental management that you're going through, or is that
self-taught?
Yeah.
Well, so James, my coach, is very good about teaching mental stuff. But over all my years of archery, that has been what I've struggled with by far the most.
Most people do.
Yeah. It's the pulling through the clicker part, and the only part that I would love about compound is not having a clicker that I have to pull through, because it's such a mental barrier that I've had to break. And so every time I'm in practice now, that's really all I'm focusing on, right? I've got the form down. My good shots are about as good as it's going to get, but it's repeating those. And what helps me repeat those is having that strong pull through the clicker. And so what I have to focus on is, when you get to such a high level and there's such a small margin of error that you have when you're competing at the really elite levels, you feel like every shot has to be a 10, right? And you have to control every shot.
Right.
Everything has to be perfect, and you can't miss. And if you shoot an 8, your life's over and stuff like that. But
I thought that was your life was over.
Yeah,
when you shot an 8. I thought that's what happened.
Yeah, it just
If
ends.
Julia does, then she's like, yeah, that's.
And so
You see it on her face.
Tournament is
it's
over.
over. You're done. You're leaving, Mom. I'm getting out of here.
This bow is going to the trash as I walk out.
Exactly, snapping the arrows. Yeah, but so what I've really been focusing on is, it's so hard when you get to that level. You want to control everything about your shot. You don't want to let go. You want to control it into that 10 ring, but you really can't. You have to let go of everything you're doing. And so what I've been doing is I've been scoring rounds based on how many good pull through the clickers I've had, rather than good scores. And so it really helps you change what you're focusing on. And another thing I do is I'll think of, when I'm shooting the target, anything in the red is a good shot, right? Anything in the red is a 10, okay? So what that helps you do is it helps you think of archery like you're shooting blank bail, right? Because anyone can shoot really well on blank bail, because you don't have to hit anything, right?
Right.
You just have your beautiful form. You don't have to worry about hitting anything, and you just have the most wonderful shots of your life. So when you're focusing on not shooting 10s, right, and you're just focusing on what you're doing behind the line in your form, you can actually end up shooting a hell of a lot better, because you're not trying to control everything, and you're letting your processes work out themselves.
Yeah, I was looking at, so Ryan was working on some stuff today, and it shows he shot a Vegas round, and there's a bunch of G's, O's, N's, basically I'm not sure what they all stand for, but good shot, okay shot. I think that's kind of what it is. Not a good
Not good
shot.
shot.
That's my guess. He'll probably correct me when he listens to this podcast. But that is part of, he grades every single shot.
Absolutely.
And that way he can say, okay, those was 3 great shots. You know, and it may be great, probably great. Good is you know, like, so looking at trying to execute a good round and see how many goods versus or greats versus okay versus, you know, meh shots.
Well, and that's the thing about shooting in practice is when you're shooting in practice, you can get away with meh shots, right? Meh shots in practice when you're at a high level are going to be 10s, right? Most of the time. You might have a couple 9s in there, but meh shots in tournaments,
Not
those meh shots that you shot in practice turn to crap in tournaments, right? With that added mental pressure. And so in practice, you really have to up your standards for what you're doing because you have to realize, okay, there's no pressure on me right now. If I shoot an 8, no one's going to see, you know? Doesn't matter, right? So you have to try and put pressure on yourself, but you know it's never going to get to like what it is in the tournament. So you really have to improve your standards. Not what you're scoring, but what your shots are like. Because I've shot really high, like 295 plus on the 40 centimeter target scores in practice that I realize those aren't going to fly in a tournament. That's a 280 in a tournament because I just crapped my way through that. None of those shots are repeatable in a tournament, right? I shot a couple X's that would have been 7s, right? And in tournament, those shots just aren't going to fly. So you have to hold yourself to a higher standard in practice.
So it's kind of like if a tree falls in the
Yeah, sorry about that, everybody. We are back. I was downstairs working with my son. I got sidetracked. I want to see how we're doing. They just start back up, I'm assuming. Oh, man, I was real late. There's already been five more arrows been shot. Take a look and see.
Yeah, this is the second half of that end.
Of the, the second. Okay. Let's see how everybody's shooting. Madison Wood still clean, 175. I'd like to see her get her 300 again today. She's been working very hard at that. Carson Cray, Cheney, sitting at 175 apiece. Carson has dropped 4 X's so far, I believe. Is that right? Yep. Jeremy at 175, 28X. Zach Rebstock, 175, 27. Cole, looking good, 175, 29X. Oh yeah, he's shooting real good. Peyton's dropped a couple 4s. It's okay. Like I said, we're not always going for perfect here. It's about growing, continuing to grow. Rick Stonebreaker's at 160.
Coolest name here.
Right. Rick Stonebreaker.
Stonebreaker.
Austin Stewart's looking good. All right. My daughter's come on strong her last 2 ends.
Carol
24,
Middleton there.
23. She wants the 25. She wants to score 25 in 1 end. That's her goal right now. She's so close. She shot 24. She got a 24 last when she shot yesterday. Today she shot a 24, 23, a couple 23s. I think she has another maybe 23 down there. Maybe even a 24. So, Dusty, how do you, as a parent, normally you're just sitting on the sidelines, do you just let Cole do his thing, or do you kind of coach him some? What does that relationship look like?
Ooh. Depends on where we're at.
And there he
level
is.
of profanity. I don't know. Years ago, we were approached to play a select baseball team. Cole loves to play baseball. And I told Dallas, I said, there's no way. We're not spending all that time and all that money and time off work to travel all over the place and play baseball. 2 years later, we travel. I mean, we were in Comanche, Texas yesterday. We're here today.
Are you talking about Archery traveling?
Yeah, we live an hour and a half from here. So
Yeah.
it's just whatever it is. But anyway, it's just
So
like
did he not play baseball, or did you decide not to do baseball?
He did until the last year. Our little community there, we lacked a coach, and so we squashed it for a year. His age group, so he set it out and committed his time to archery a little more, I guess, without realizing it. And here he is. I mean, he loves to play baseball. He likes to play basketball too. He plays a little bit of everything. This year is the first year he hasn't played every sport. He usually plays football, basketball, and baseball.
Uh-oh.
But
Is that his arrow?
oh boy, that was it.
I saw him shaking his
That's it.
head. No.
That's it. $2.99.
I was talking about the $2.99 is
I got him.
like if you have a, it's like we should have like a shirt that says $2.99 with a big
Again.
frowny face.
Again.
Again. I know.
Again.
It's like Vegas. You have the $2.99, and they show it's a shirt. It has 3 spots on it, and each one of them has just a big old black hole in the 10X ring. Except on one of them, there's one arrow just sitting in the middle of the 9, and that's what it's like.
So back to what you asked. It's just like any other sport. Baseball, you've got those dads. Some of them are sitting back there. They don't say anything until they go home, and then that's where they do their best and worst coaching, probably.
Yep.
I think in archery it's the same way. I try to stay out of his head because, man, I've said it 100 times. 90% of this game is mental. It's in their head.
It is, yeah.
And that's why you see him, like he just dropped that arrow. He turned around instantly and just shook his head.
Yeah.
Because it's on him. He knew exactly, as soon as that arrow fired, as soon as the shot broke, he knew exactly what happened. He knew where it was going to hit. He's seen it too many times. So.
And he was shooting strong coming up into that shot, and that's what's tough about this sport. I've talked to people about it before. There's baseball, basketball, all those sports. You know what? If you're not hitting well, it may not affect the team as much.
Right.
There's other guys can step up. Basketball.
They can soak it
You know
up.
what? I can't seem to hit a shot if my life depend on it. Today, I'm going to focus on just getting the ball to the person that can score, and you guys can still win. Archery's not that way. He just shot. He has, he'll shoot 60 arrows. Let's say that he finishes with 299. Guess what? It was one of those 60 arrows that was a bad shot, and it's part of learning.
It's a one-man sport.
Yep,
that's for sure.
Yeah, there's nobody to blame.
But it's tough. It's tough to stay at his age. He's kind of making that transition, I believe.
Yeah.
Where he sees his mistakes like that right there. He knows what happened. He knows what he's got to do to fix it, or at least he's got an idea. He's also getting to that age group now where he tends to analyze everything. I'll come home and he'll have so much stuff loose or moved on his bow, or different arrows, or arrows cut different, or different weights in the points, and it's a good thing. But I mean, it's nerve-wracking as a dad, as a coach, I guess.
And I think it's good that these kids at this age start to experiment on their own, because if they get to 16, 17, and this is where I see a lot of kids they drift off from archery because the parents have done. They've been very successful. You get to high school, all of a sudden they moved up a division. You're not dominating like you were.
Right.
Like, Ryan was dominating at one point, and then he moved up, and all of a sudden he's low man on the totem pole.
Yeah. Going the same way this year.
And
First year and senior.
Yeah, so you got to figure out, okay, and he was able to figure it out very quickly, and was able to compete at that level. But it's a whole different, each time you move up, it's a different level of skill that you're shooting against.
Sure.
And you got to figure out, like, you as a parent can't get them through it.
No.
They have to be able to figure it out.
I think I actually heard it from you guys, and I say it all the time. I may have heard it on here. You can't want it more than they do.
That is one of my sayings.
Yeah. You can't want it more.
We cannot live vicariously through our children with archery.
We can try.
Specifically archery, you can't. And if you want it more than them, guess what? That's when you get upset. You get more upset than they do.
Yep.
Because I will put money down when they miss that shot. He is more upset than you.
Oh, yeah.
I will put money down.
I know mine is.
Yeah.
I know
But,
he is.
us as parents sometimes even get upset, which we shouldn't.
No.
It's even when he hit it, my stomach dropped just a little bit, because I know, like, these kids, I know exactly what they feel like when they drop that 1-4 after. It's like, oh, my word. And now they've got to finish out the shoot. It's just like he's over there talking to Zach going, man.
Exactly. Yeah, Zach's over there trying to talk him off the ledge now. But
yeah.
But it's going to be interesting to see what happens after this, because it's going to go one of two ways. He's just going to crumble downhill, or he'll just finish it out at 299.
Yeah, and we want him to finish strong, because it's a good way to finish. Zach's a good one down there. I know Zach's struggling too. Like all these archers, Zach's a 60x shooter. Like, he came into this anticipating to shoot probably high 50s, 60, but something's not quite right, and he's struggling. He went to Vegas earlier this year. First 2 days, 2 300s in a row, and then ends up dropping two of them in the last. So he ended up shooting for the weekend an 898. That's pretty good,
Yeah.
So
Pretty good.
yeah, and I mean, he was just right there. So he's, but all these kids, they struggle at some point, and
Everybody's down there picking on him. The 299 club welcoming him
welcome to the 299 club.
Into the club, yeah.
And that may be his only 299 for the year.
Did you know about some Oreos?
I know. What happened there? Somebody's sharing some stuff down there.
It looked pretty empty. Saxon's holding it up. It looked pretty light. Scott, I know y'all shoot a lot. We're in the third week of bow season here in Texas. Y'all hunt much?
We do. I say much. It's hard for me to get away.
Well, yeah.
So we hunted the
You
first.
mean this is busy time of year for you?
I know. This is, also it's like I got away the first weekend, which was a terrible weekend to hunt. It was hot, miserable. We never saw
Second
anything.
weekend was golden.
It was beautiful. Ryan and I both went out and hunted. He came back with a raccoon. He's like, after he'd sat there for several hours, a raccoon came and he was like, I was going to let him go. And then he jumped on the feeder and I was like, okay, he's dead.
Yeah.
And
Corn
shot
thief.
him. And so we have not had a chance to get back out there, but we will. We'll bow hunt all the way through the season. We won't. We might rifle hunt at some point. I doubt it. We've done it in the past. We haven't in the last couple of years. Nice. Got himself a hog.
Yeah, he got a hog opening weekend. He didn't have much in the way of deer come out, but he
Did get him something.
got him a little pig, and
There's my daughter.
here we go.
There's little Miss Ellie. If you notice the shirt, that's we went to Des Moines, Iowa for the Joe-Ide Nationals, and so every kid got themselves a new shirt. She has a few little outliers, but man, she's so good right now.
Yeah. She's how old?
She's 12.
12.
I think she's got huge potential. Of course, she's my daughter. Hold on one second. Of course, it's my daughter, but I all these kids like Peyton Smith right there. She's 12 years old, first year to shoot 20.
Ex-killer.
She's a stud.
She is.
Like she is a stud. I would not be surprised if she shoots a 300 this year. We've got a few things to work on. She didn't shoot much this summer. She kind of took the summer off, and so getting rid of some of those cobwebs. I don't know why the camera sometimes focuses on something on the background.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, boom.
It did a minute ago.
I don't know if maybe it's a color. Maybe it's a color of something. I don't know.
We had something like that go on before, or you did. I shouldn't say we. It was going on when I was watching. Something to do with out there or something during the. I think it was during the ringer.
Yeah. I don't know. It kept focusing on the animal behind it. I don't know what was going on there, but
Yeah,
I
it was
think
a color. It was
yeah,
taking priority.
color.
over the-
Yeah, there was a setting. It for some reason the camera moved to manual instead of auto color, so we fixed that. With our new equipment, we're moving away from HDMI. See, that's good. Last 3 shots, strong.
Yeah.
But we're moving away from HDMI. I know Wendy makes fun of me that I throw stuff out like that, but the cable that you run to your TV from your satellite box or from your smart device,
Right.
That's what we're running right now. We're running 150 feet of
Yeah.
it, and
About 20 feet from me now, I believe there's a stack of, I don't know, is there
so that
2,500 feet of that stuff.
that is So I ordered 1,000 feet of SDI cable, which
Okay.
SDI allows you to go 300 feet and not lose any quality.
Oh, yeah.
HDMI, it's rated for 50 feet. We're running them 150. It's special HDMI. It's one directional, so you have to set it up. You can't just plug one end in and plug the other end in and think it works. So, for example, the cables have to run from the cameras directly in here, and that's the direction it has to go. So if I wanted to put a projector on the other end, I'd have to actually take the cable and swap it
Wow.
because it's only one direction. That's the only way you can get more than 50 feet.
Uphill, downhill cable.
Yeah. HDMI or SDI is not going to have that issue, which is what we want. We want to be able to get those cameras far away from us, especially at the rodeo, so that we can get some better video of those kids.
How many hours do you think you'll have before you turn the first screen on at the rodeo?
What do you mean? Setup?
Yeah.
It'll take us a few hours to get everything set up. Part of it is just to keep it clean and nice,
Tripping over it.
Yeah, we want to make sure everything looks good as we do it, as we set it up, run everything. tape all the cables down. But it won't be bad. We'll do that Friday night and have everything ready to go.
So from what I gather, this year we have a bigger haul. They've unlimited the amount of shooters that can sign up.
Yeah, there's right at about 300 archers. I'll be right back.
All right.
You'd think that, I'm going to be here. We've been, we stayed here till about 9:30 on Friday. Last night we were out of here by 8:30, so we get here at 8 leave by 8:30, and then, which, it's just a long day of talking, and then tonight, we'll finish early. I'll think, all right, I'll be good. Ryan won't let us get out of here till late. He's especially
There'll
since
be
one
something
of
important to work
his
on.
his mod broke, and so he's trying to set up a second bow so that he can continue to shoot until the new mod comes in. But he's trying some different things. He's swapped limbs. He's done all kinds of stuff on that bow to try to get it to be.
I seen him carrying it around while ago. I figured he had something up his sleeve.
Yeah, I told him, he's shooting arrows. It's a challenge when you have an arrow that long to get it to shoot right, and so I told him, go ahead and let's try some different points. Let's put 200 grains in. Let's do 100 grains. Let's just see how they perform.
Load him up.
He's running 150 right now, so why not? So that's what he's doing. So we'll be here. I'm pretty sure we'll be here late.
At higher FOC indoor, I wouldn't be scared of it.
Yep. Let's see where we are.
Scott, the Aggie Invitational that's 2 weeks away. That's a World Archery?
It is. It's that they register, so they'll go ahead and they'll register it so that you can sanction. They'll sanction the event under World Archery, so that if somebody shoots a world or national record, they can get them.
Big part of it.
So they'll shoot it. So for compound, it's just Inter X. That's your only 10. Everything else is 9. For recurves and bare bows, this year there's no JOAD division. So what that means is everyone shoots a 40 centimeter target. There won't be the 60 like they've had in the past. So don't be surprised when you show up and you're thinking, oh, I get a 60 centimeter target. There won't be any there. They're all 40s. So you're shooting a single spot or a 3 spot. That's it. It's not going to be vertical. It's going to be a Vegas type style 3 spot. So that's okay because
I believe the arrow limitations are 25 for those, aren't they?
23.
23s?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
9.33 millimeters or whatever that is.
It's America. What do you mean millimeters?
I know. And then with a variance of a 9.4, which is from 4H, you guys don't understand what a variance means.
Oh, boy.
So 9.33 is so the arrow fits in a 2364, which is a 4H requirement, but every point on I say every point, majority of the points on a 23 are going to be a hair bigger than a 2364 because it's going to go right outside the shaft of the, protect that shaft. So we have to 4H those arrows is what I call it, and
I can tell you all about it.
people laugh because they'll take pictures of me. I'm over there grinding points down, to get those points.
Yep.
Just small enough. It's not going to affect.
It's just a couple
the arrow.
thousandths.
It's not going to
really all
affect
it
the
is.
arrow. Yeah, it's not going to affect the arrow at all.
A Black Eagle 23 will not fit through the jig, but a Victory brand 23,
Point will.
you can put it in a Black Eagle arrow. And the tolerance is not quite as tight as it was if it was Victory to Victory.
Yeah.
But it will go in the Black Eagle tight enough.
That's good to know.
And it will go right through the jig.
So about
Anybody out there looking for that?
Yeah, so Victory 23s will fit in a PS 23, which is the right variance. What's interesting is PS3 changed their points about 2 years ago. 3 years ago, the old points fit.
Really?
Yep. So we were a little surprised when we got everybody those 23s and they didn't fit.
I will tell you, I heard that you could take those Black Eagle 23 points, just chuck them up in a drill, take them out of the arrow and chuck them up the arrow in the drill. You just wrap emery cloth around them.
Oh, it wouldn't take much.
Oh, it works perfect. The first one I did by hand in your shop with emery cloth.
Oh, my word.
Yeah. So it doesn't take much.
No, it doesn't. All right, 3 more ends. Looking up my daughter's scores, she's actually shooting pretty well right now. I just love that, when there's at a point where, when she first was shooting, she would shoot one time and she was fine. There was no want to shoot. And Ryan was the same
okay.
way. She'd
Yeah.
just shoot,
Yeah, the
like on
hunger.
a SYWAT, she'd just shoot one time. She was begging to come and shoot a second time because she knew she could do better.
It's good.
And I don't know anything about Olympic recurve too, so it's killing me to, I'm just like, I have no idea. So she is, so she just finished her 9th in. She's at 186. The other day on the 9th in, she was at 179. So just very quickly, I can look at and see that she is about 7 points higher than she was at this point yesterday, which is cool that you can do that on the app.
Thanks to
Eyes on Score. It's a selfless plug, right?
Totally selfless. Totally selfless. For what it's worth, at Texas State Fair this year, I actually emailed them just to put the bug in their ear, ask them if they were going to have Eyes on Score. And the lady told me no, they weren't going to have it this year. And lo and behold, at the last minute, they called out the seniors last. So when they called out the winners for juniors, I believe.
Yeah.
Landon Rowland, outstanding shooter from
Yep.
up that way. They called him. He shot a 599
Wow.
at Texas State Fair. Okay, and the high 9 he missed was. I'm gonna say I saw a picture of it. He had it in his phone. He showed it to me. It was less than a millimeter. I mean,
It just barely missed.
It rolled the line. You could see glare on the line, but it was not. It was out barely.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
anyway, they called him in the either in the juniors, I believe. They called his name first place with the juniors. So he's calling their scores out at 4 whatever,
Yeah,
380, 420, whatever they were, and then 599, and they didn't even catch it. The committee that was putting it on didn't even catch because they don't know archery. But anyway, the whole time I had about 3 or 4 parents all telling, this never would have happened with Eyes on Score.
Right. It would have never happened. Come on.
Because there were several people there that were really irritated that big of a shoot, and they didn't have it because people like watching it real time.
Yeah. I mean, it is. People are getting spoiled.
Yeah. Thanks, God.
That's really what it's happening.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah, I know. Everybody's getting a little spoiled on the eyes on score.
You're welcome.
Yeah, you're welcome.
What you do is you take it away now.
That's right. And then make people do this without
Demand
it.
Yeah. Demand it then.
I think it's the future. It will come.
Oh, yeah.
And I knew that would happen. I knew that I wasn't going to start this thing, and everybody's like, "Oh, I'm on board." It's change, and it's a little intimidating, but like for a state shoot, for sectionals, whatever. This thing does multi-location. So all it is I set up a tournament for 3, 4, 5 locations. Doesn't matter, and the system sets up. They could be at different times. Doesn't matter. Like you just enable that time, they score. Only those archers for the location will score, and then they just all get combined together.
Right. So 4-H state games this year, which is it's a huge turnout. The competitive level is not as high as some of this other stuff, but the turnout is huge. Tons of kids, 5 events, overall scores. It's a ton to keep up with. Every day they would turn in cards, and there were there's committees of people.
Right.
At the end of the day, they're stacking these things up, and these, this one poor girl, she was the go-to. Let me back up. Her name was the one at the bottom of the email, so that's who you had to contact. We had a question about score. Well, they would tell you, they've turned it in, I believe, at the end of the day, and I could be wrong about this, but they would turn it in, and they tell you we shoot 2 shoots a day, one in the morning, one in the afternoon. The morning shoot would be available, the results would be available that evening. That afternoon shoot, the standings wouldn't be available till the following morning. So you would show up the next day, and you wouldn't know until the next day what you shot the day before, and with eyes
Where
on
you
score.
ranked,
I'm like, man, a thing this big, this many hundreds and hundreds of kids, in 5 events over a week's time, this thing would save them so much trouble.
And we've seen since indoor season, our membership's gone way up, all over the country.
Good.
Multiple sites. Some of our biggest users are in California. Those are the locations that are...
Really?
Yeah. Texas, by far, is the largest. California is probably the next largest. They have multiple teams there, and they use the dog out of the app.
Really?
Almost every week, they have something going on. They use it for their pin shoots. They use it for their major competitions. And they have big indoor shoots. They'll have 250 archers shooting. And they tell me, game-changing for them, for offering it, and it just works. All right, Madison Wood, full draw. How's Madison looking so far? Let's see. Madison Wood is still clean with 200. Look down there and check her. Oh, she looks good so far. Recently had to move her. Her coach moved her to an index just to kind of change some stuff up. Taught her how to shoot it correctly. As she just locks in and basically just pulls through. to get it to go off. Yep, there we go. All right, 2 more ends, 10 more arrows, and we call this done. What do you think, Jack? Big thumbs up. It is a long weekend, isn't it? All right. Let's take a look here. If you're wanting to see how everybody's doing, take a look at Eyes on Score. We've been talking about it a lot, but it's an easy way to go see how everybody's doing.
Time, don't you worry. You would always call me at the wrong time, so you can know what I was up to. Oh, don't you get that? It's just stupid. Hey, just hear me out. It's been a while since we were good, so why we dragging out when we've been doing everything we could? I don't wanna feel so lonely tonight. Every time we spend time, I wanna do this for the last time. I don't need it, no, I don't need it, no, don't need you here to feel alright. It's crazy how we started off so good. Every single hour with you vanished just like that. But now it feels like I've been trapped, and I can't believe how you don't see it now. Hey, just hear me out. It's been a while since we were good, so why we dragging out when we've been doing everything we could? I don't wanna feel so lonely tonight. Every time we spend time, I wanna do this for the last time. I don't need it, no, I don't need it, no, don't need you here to feel alright. I don't wanna feel so lonely tonight, but you only make it worse whenever you're around. 'Cause I don't need it, no, I don't need it, no, don't need you here to feel alright. The way you comfort me, still it's not enough. Oh, I love the way you comfort me, still it's not enough. It's not enough.
All right, finishing up. Glad you guys tuned in. We're finishing up right now. Oh, actually, we're not finished. We got 2 more. 2 more ends to go, and then we will call it a day. Oops. The heck? Hopefully I didn't just lose my... There we go. No, we're still streaming. Accidentally logged out somehow. Hit the wrong button, I guess. Finishing up the Cubs right now. They're at the end of their scoring. So Dusty just asked about my kids. We'd asked earlier. So I have a 25-year-old daughter that has 2 kids. So I have 2 grandkids.
Pawpaw.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Pawpaw. I know, right? I got a little 3-year-old and a little 6-month-old. Her and her husband live out in Temple, Texas. After they graduated during COVID, and ended up getting married during COVID, and he ended up getting a job out there, and they moved out there. My second one, who is 23, she works here. You may have met her before, and she just got married a couple months ago, and they're actually moving into their house at the next week during Rodeo weekend.
Oh,
they're
okay.
moving into their house, which
Dad,
they're only
Dad's busy that weekend.
yeah, I'm busy, unfortunately. And so they'll live about 20 minutes from us. And then I have Ryan, who's a sophomore at Texas A&M, shoots for Texas A&M.
Ooh.
And then I have my my daughter, who is 12, which is down there shooting right now.
Man, y'all spread them out there, huh? Man. Start all over.
Yep. I'm so glad that she's got. I wasn't so sure I was going to get her into archery. So Ellie, she is my mini me when it comes to personality, because she has never met a stranger. She has no fear. So when it comes to, like, she does plays, she'll do public speaking. She doesn't care. She'll
That's
talk in
great.
front of anybody. Like, she has no issues.
Speak of the devil.
Yeah, speaking of the devil.
I
So
preach to Cole all the time. Anybody, I tell them, especially nowadays, public speaking. If you can get a kid that can step up there, captivate an audience, get their attention, and keep their attention, and speak clearly, and not ums and you knows all
Yep.
over theirself. Oh man,
Well, there is something to that. It's depending on what job you want later in
Yeah.
life,
Yeah.
there is a lot of positive if you can have the confidence to step up and do that. She's done a podcast with me, being Peyton, which Peyton is right next to her. About a year ago, they both shot in outdoor nationals for the first time, and so I had the 2 of them come in, and they talked about their experience there. It was a really good podcast. Neither one of them are scared at all. They did awesome. And then we have, and I love that they want to do stuff like that.
the fact that they're not scared scares me.
Right.
Why aren't they scared? Why?
Well, I think that's what makes them, like, they're going to be super competitive archers, because
Yeah.
they can step up and not have those nerves.
Yeah. Back to the mental game we talk about.
Yep. Just looking down there. Everybody's looking good. A lot of good arrows down there. But thanks again for tuning in. We do enjoy doing this, and I'm glad that I think it's a service that archery needs. I think that any major event in Texas should have live coverage. I don't care what it is. If it's 4-H, if it's NFAA, TFAA, if it's TSAA, USA, I think they should have this type of offering.
We all talk about it, making things bigger and expanding things. We want it more for the kids and make things grow. And I don't know what better way, Scott, other than putting it in everybody's pocket
Right.
like this in
Yeah.
the digital world we live in.
And I've talked about this before. So we may have 20 or 30 people that are watching at one time. Those aren't huge numbers, but by tonight, there could be 1,000 views.
How many heads looked at it?
Yeah, everybody will go. Like, most people will go and at least watch themselves for a little while. And it's funny. I will tell you, by tonight I'll have
Text
probably
messages.
I'll have 5 or 6 text messages going, man, I was looking at my form, terrible.
Why didn't you tell me?
What was I doing?
How many times have you videoed me like
Yeah,
that?
there's Jeremy. He's one of our good customers here. He shoots a Bowtech, shoots a lot. Very good shooter. We have Logan Hamilton coming up here in just a second. Or Logan, not
Saxon?
Logan Saxon. He's been shooting for our club for about 2 years now.
He went to a Hoyt.
Oh, see that? That's a little bit of target panic there, or maybe a little collapse. That's what these top archers seem to struggle with. At some point, almost every one of them has to deal with it. I don't care how good they are.
At some point.
Because, Ryan was all good until he started
Stick
shooting
again.
58, 59, 60Xs in practice. And then all of a sudden that expectation steps in, like, okay, I don't want to miss. I don't want to miss. Instead of just shoot your process, and then it just escalates
Just
from there.
just watch the arrow hit it.
Yeah, absolutely. But
Seems
you-
like target panic is almost a rite of passage.
Right.
It's almost like you have to get it. You have to get past it.
yeah,
Or you're not shooting.
right.
You're not doing it right if you don't get it.
It seems like at some point everybody has to deal with it, and everybody has different levels of it.
and it manifests
you know.
differently. Cole's 2 years, year and a half ago, he would lock underneath the bull.
That's pretty normal.
Yeah, and man, it got so bad. He went from on a Vegas face shooting, I don't know, 580s probably, to man, I think he went down to like a 520 something. I mean, he could not raise the bow up. It was the craziest thing. As a dad, we talked about it a while ago. It was so hard to watch.
And you're just like, lift it up. Like,
yeah,
I don't understand.
Just
like,
raise
why
your
is that a
arm.
problem?
Just put the pin on it and let it go. You know, I don't understand. You've done it a zillion times.
Yeah,
Why
yeah.
is it
Should not be a
now?
problem.
He's like, I don't know. It just won't happen. And now, I put him on a true back tension. He's getting tired.
Yeah, I could tell.
Yeah,
I could
he's
tell
at
he
100 and
a little bobble there.
he's well over 100 arrows now. His X count's starting to creep a little bit. I think he dropped
Still
that one
looking
arrow.
good.
No, he's
Still
still
looking
holding
good.
in there.
No,
But,
he's excellent shooter.
He's coming on. He's just at that age.
Well, here's the part about SYWAT. So he shot a 52X this morning, or this afternoon, or this morning.
Look at
and
that.
then he comes
Under the
here.
pressure. Dead center.
Yep. So
My
he
man.
comes here, and he dropped one big one. It doesn't matter.
No,
because
no.
at the end of the weekend, the score that's posted is a 352X. Doesn't matter that he shot a 299. No one will even know that he shot this one.
So they're going to shoot. Some people may not know, Scott, that they shoot from now until March.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Into March.
Yeah. So
Indoor season.
all these in their top three, they can shoot as many as they want.
Oh, March. Yeah. Yeah,
and then
March.
I think
yeah.
the finals is March. So they'll shoot all those shoots. And I mean, if you were up to traveling and didn't have a real job, I guess you could shoot. Oh man, you could shoot a ton of them.
Yeah, I wrote it down. I think I left it on the other sheet of paper.
How many there are?
How many are there? There's 76. What did I do with it?
We won't make that many.
It was 76 shoots that you can shoot
across the state.
across the state. It was something like 42 locations.
Oh wow. This year is bigger, from what I understand.
I think so.
I was told there's more locations, more opportunities.
This is a big weekend. Like we'll put in 170 some archers that'll shot, and that's a full weekend. Our Saturday, if you were going to shoot Saturday evening, would have been the best time because we actually had one line. We only had 13
Really?
archers show up,
Oh, that'd been nice.
and then almost all the other lines were full.
Well, even if you like to travel, if you're not a good archer,
Right?
there's an award for you.
Yes. Yes.
If you go shoot all those locations, or let me say, if you shoot the most locations, you get a Globetrotter award, which is pretty neat.
It's tough to get because
Yeah.
how you get it, this is what I've been told. So if you came here and shot your compound, and then what a lot of these guys do, they'll shoot their compound here, and then they'll shoot the recurve. That counts as 2. Doesn't matter that Cole shot twice with his.
He didn't get credit.
He only gets credit for 1.
But 2
But
classes
if you
you
shoot
would.
two different classes, you get 1. You get it.
Wow.
So there was this one guy last year. He came here, shot one Friday night, shot one Saturday morning, 2 different classes, drove to another location,
4.
and did it again. So in one weekend, he had 4. Even though there was 2 sites, he got 4 of them.
Working
so
the system.
So it's very hard to beat some
Yeah.
of those guys. That's crazy. There was one of our girls that their parents were like, they were going to try to get it, and they drove, and then it turned out she thought she had a real good shot at it because you really don't know
No, not till the end.
until the end, and it turns out she wasn't even close. They traveled. The mom was so angry. She's like, we traveled to
What fuel
so
costs
many
now?
places, yeah, and then to come to find out that they didn't even have a chance because she wasn't shooting 2 different bow classes,
And everybody else is.
and that's okay. I mean, that's the rules. You got to go with them.
Yeah. I'd have to buy a Prius or something.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bus ticket.
Bus ticket by himself. Man, I got to tell you,
Good luck.
like Ryan he went to Arizona. He went to Florida. He went to Atlanta for collegiate nationals. He went to Iowa for Joe-Eyed nationals. He went to Buckeye in Ohio, and then went out to Melbourne, Pennsylvania, and shot adult nationals.
Wow.
And so that's 6 trips. And what we did was we didn't travel with him all of them. You know, I judged some of them, and so he traveled with me. We did miles. Places I couldn't take him to, I couldn't take him to Florida. I couldn't take him to Buckeye. So we would just find somebody for him to stay with, and we just get him there, and then somebody would just take care of him.
Yeah.
And so that would keep our costs way low.
Shoot, yeah.
He didn't care. He just wanted to get there, you know?
Just get me and my bow there.
Yeah, just get me and my bow there.
I'll take care of the rest.
So 5 more arrows, and we are done. Thank you, Anna Hansen, for down there helping. I heard today is Anna Day.
And a day.
Yeah, apparently that's a thing. I didn't know that. Wendy went ahead and shared with us that she looked up what is today. Today is Anna Day. Oh, yeah. So,
I don't know.
that was from yesterday.
Okay.
American Frog Day,
Of course.
you know.
Who doesn't know about that?
National Fetch Day.
Fetch.
International Raw Milk Cheese Day. What? I don't even understand. Yeah, International Sloth Day.
I've heard that's the slowest day.
Yeah, it was.
It's a long day.
It was long. It was long.
Sloth day.
There's Zach Rebstock. He's one of our bow techs here at Texas Archery.
Mm-hmm.
He shot for, I always say Southern Illinois. It wasn't Southern Illinois. He shot for a college up there in Illinois.
Don't let him hear you call the wrong college.
Yeah.
So we came in last Sunday, I believe. Yeah. Or maybe 2 Sundays ago, and Zach helped my wife, Dallas. She was bow shopping, and she shot the Prima. She shot the, what's the lady's bow tech?
The Eva Shopke.
Yeah, Eva's bow. She might have shot one other one, and he was the one that got her fixed up to do so. Let her demo some bows. And
What'd she end up with?
none of them.
None of them?
Ended up with a Remedy.
Oh, okay.
We're elitist, you know, Scott.
You are.
We're elitist.
That Eva Shopke's a good bow.
We all 3 shoot elites. Not that we're actually elitist.
Right. All those bows are, once you get to that level, all those bows are very good.
Yes.
It's all in feel.
And the technology
Yep.
that's gone into them, adjustability.
Manuela, she's been shooting for us for a couple years. Coached out of here as well on a weekly basis. Very good shooter.
Man, not a blink.
Yep.
Focus. Seem loud?
It was way louder earlier.
All of a sudden, it seemed like it got louder.
And what's weird is, I have everything down. It must be, that's down. I guess I could turn it down there if I needed to. I have my phone off, and it's still playing music. All right. Let's see how everybody's looking so far. Again, you can go to Eyes on Score. I know I keep saying it over and over again, but it is a way for you to go and look at the scores. We used to show it on the screen and just have it scroll, but that's boring. I'd watch it. I'm like, okay, I'm done listening to watching that. I can just go to the website and look real quick.
Yeah.
So we don't do that anymore. Wow, my daughter, she's going to kill her score from last time. She shot a 240.
She's already.
She's at 231 right now. And so
she'll blow it out of the water.
Yeah, she had a 3 down there, but man, she's shooting pretty good. Pretty good. I'm going to definitely owe her a Starbucks. So yesterday she goes, "Hey, if I shoot a 25, will you give me $100?" I'm like, no. Why would I do that?
Yeah.
It's crazy. I said, what I'll do is I'll buy you a Starbucks.
Did you?
If you
just a reminder. Where did
Yeah.
her bow come from?
Right. So I said, I'll give you a Starbucks if you shoot 25. So she shoots a 24, and so she comes up to me and she says, "Hey, I shot a 24. Do you think that's good enough for a Starbucks?" And I said,
wasn't a
"You know
deal.
what? I'll give you half a
caved.
Starbucks. I'll give you half a
Oh,
Starbucks.
Have a credit?
But here's the deal." And somebody's like, "What are you going to do? Pour the other half into another cup?" I'm like, "No. What I'm going to do is
credit.
right in front of her, I'm going to pour half of it out, and then hand it
There
to
you
her."
go. There you go.
You didn't earn all the Starbucks.
That's right. I like that better. Make her pour it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, our new cameras that
Tough
we
love.
put in this year are allow us to get images like this of like Cole. I mean, how awesome is this? There's no other place in the state of Texas that you can get these type of views. There may not be a place hardly anywhere that
No.
you can get these kind of
No.
views of your archers that you'll watch afterwards. I guarantee you guys will probably watch some of this. You know,
Absolutely. The coolest thing is that at this level, there's people who know nothing about archery. They don't know about it. They don't care to know about it, but they want to see their grandkids, their
Right.
son-in-law or their
Yeah.
stepson or
Whoever.
daughter or daughter or whatever. Maybe the dad works out
Friend.
of town. Yeah, mom's here. At that level, it's one thing to step up and watch Lancaster or something like that. The only people who watch Lancaster in Vegas are archers
Yes.
for the most part,
Yep.
But in this world, that we're in the booth with Booth right here. They anybody can tune in and watch it at a level it's the same. It's awesome, and the kids love it.
Yep.
The kids love it. Like at Houston last year, man, they thought they got in that podcast. They thought they were on
They did.
ESPN.
Man, those
It
kids
was
did awesome.
great.
And we've got even a better setup for them this year. So it's going to be,
Awesome.
the one thing, like we were learning. So we set up a camera. We never even thought that we couldn't keep them facing the camera. So every time we talk to them, they all lean talking to us. So the camera's catching them from the side as they're talking. And it's like, no. We want you to, look at the camera when you're
Here.
talking.
Sure.
So I actually got a cheap little monitor that I'm going to stick right in front so that it'll be a picture of us.
Let's put a privacy
that
screen
so
between you.
they can actually look at the camera and look at us. With the new technology we have here, I can actually. So in the past, all we could do is these screens.
Mm-hmm.
New technology, I can actually pull up just our camera, so it's not being broadcast, but that's the camera they see, and they see us talking to them directly. And
Okay.
on ours, we can see just them. So
Okay.
we can see it that way, so that we can see
That'll help.
that way they can just look straight ahead and talk toward us with the
Right.
camera, so it's more toward
They're not
the,
constantly
Yeah.
turning 90 degrees talking to you.
I want to take some of those videos and use those as some commercials for the rodeo. See how the camera is
it's
on
focused.
Logan. Yeah, there we go.
It's like I want to touch it.
Yeah,
like an
I
iPhone.
know.
You want to touch it. And
Well,
Make it focus.
Jacqueline's getting really good at that. So she sees it. She knows exactly what to do. Just zoom out just a hair or zoom back in. There's Lily. Lily does it too. Lily knows how to do all this stuff as well. We have several of the kids that we get in here to help work on all this stuff for us. When we do live scoring, you should see it. It's another computer that ties directly into this system that does the live scoring on the screen. So as they're doing live scoring, that's where you can see their name with the scores popping up as they
Scrolling.
go. Yep.
it's a lot to keep up with.
Yep. I think one thing we learned on the ringer is that we're trying to call arrows from here.
It's tough.
It's tough.
It's
and
tough.
that target face was really blue, and because of the color of the target,
That's what it was. That's what I was talking about earlier.
it blurred it out. Look
Yeah.
how clear these are.
Yeah.
Like we're not even that far. We're not even that close to it, and it's super clear. For some reason, on those big blue targets, the camera just
Nice
didn't
shot.
like that blue because we can see.
Strong
Look how
finish.
clear the X is.
Yeah.
There, we couldn't get that view.
All four of them.
Yeah. We couldn't get that view. Yeah. So, one thing we learned was in that case, there should be a walkie-talkie talking to the person that's doing the scores on the screen.
Okay.
So I'm probably going to order some walkie-talkies so that they have an ear in. Somebody down there going 10,
10. Yeah.
9, and then they can put it into the system.
There you go.
And then we can see what's going on.
An unofficial official.
Yeah, yeah. And I think that's going to work better than what we've done.
Yeah, you see those ones, YouTube, Lancaster, and all that. Constantly reference those because that's all there is out there other than you.
Yeah, yeah.
But anyway, they have a spot and scope, and you got PJ Riley with a microphone. And
Yeah.
he's, 10 every time it hits the bail.
And here it was a little tougher for us because we weren't so far. We're about 50 yards away from there.
Yeah, from here.
And so when we first started doing this, the cameras that we had were these little wireless cameras, and it was super unclear. So they're blurry. So you couldn't go to them and actually say, okay, that was in or not. I could say, okay, it's in the white. I can't tell you if it's an X or not.
In the middle.
Yeah, it's in the middle. And so we've got binoculars, and we're trying to call these arrows and figure out where people are because SYWAT is not assigned spots. And so we're just trying to write down frantically, okay, who's on what bail and where they are. Now, since we do assignments, that's what helps you and me.
Yeah.
Because you and I
look
could
at this list
we
here,
could
know
literally
where
look at lists like,
everybody's
oh, that guy's on 7A. That is... Oh, and that is Peyton Smith,
Yeah.
And we can talk about Peyton. Also, it helps our camerawoman. Sorry. I said cameraman instead of camerawoman. She gave me a dirty look.
Camera executive.
Yeah, camera executive. She can, when we say, oh, like Peyton has been with the team, and immediately that's her cue to go right to Peyton.
Sure.
And she knows exactly what to do. Yeah, see, she heard the name Peyton. She's already zooming in on her. That's how good she is. So I think that's about it.
It's the last in, wasn't it?
Yeah. Thanks, Dusty, for joining us.
Oh,
And
man, glad to be here. Glad to have me.
I'm glad, yeah. What do you think? Pretty fun?
Oh,
Kind of a
it's-
cool experience?
Yeah, it is. It's like
It's not bad.
no, it's just kind of like I watch Joe Rogan and all
Yeah.
those podcasts and everything like
yeah,
that.
there you go.
So I'm in the booth with Booth, like I said a while
There
ago.
you go. That's funny.
Yeah, it's different. I like it. I like
Yeah.
being able to see all these views and everything and see what goes into
Isn't
it.
this pretty
honestly.
cool? Like, I think that this is probably about the best view in the house because
It is.
you're down there
As
watching
long as
certain
Jack,
things.
as long as she's running the camera.
Yeah, as long as she's running the cameras.
Don't let me run 'em.
Absolutely. You can get a lot of different views, a lot of different eyes on different archers. One thing we're trying to do, and we did way better this time, is let's spotlight some of the archers, and we can do that very quickly because we know what bail they're on and what target
Right,
they're on. And we
right.
can set the cameras up real quick for that.
Wish I'd have thought about it earlier when we were on break. I would have went and got a little 30-second questionnaire from
Yeah,
a couple of them.
we've
so
talked.
We could tell,
We've totally talked about that,
quirky facts about, I don't know, somebody out there.
right?
What else they do besides archery? Where are they from? Stuff like that.
Well, let's see. All right. Well, that is it. We're going to go ahead and call this done. So thank you, Dusty, for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks, everybody, for joining us
Appreciate it.
online. And we will catch you guys